All right, we're getting more professional every week. So, we've got a lot to discuss today, but first off, happy Canadian Thanksgiving to our Canadian viewers. Today, we're going to talk about several items, including Tesla in court, numerous times, Air and SpaceX, GigaFest, and the shareholders briefing. They had a lot of items to discuss, as well as another IPO from a company that has actually built cars, and so much more. I've actually managed to get here after the traffic, but before the go live time to actually kind of put stuff together in categories, but I didn't finish. Time marches on. Hello to Robert William and Anders. How y'all doing this afternoon? Or evening for you guys. It's afternoon for me. But here we go. Let's see if that's one of our co-hosts. All right, yep, Dan says he'll be along shortly. So let's talk about some stuff that's actually not even on the topic for the day. Got my safety score up to 100, which was something that over the past 2 weeks you've seen me trying to do. Started out at 94 on the very first drive, and the very first day was 96. And then I discovered that you could get it to round up, and so I drove over 600 miles and got it rounded from a 99 to 100. And right now, let's take a look at these leaderboards and see where things really are. Don't want to share? Fine. I'll click it, and then I'll click over here, refresh it. That should do the trick. Sorry, the screen didn't want to share. That'll be a good thing, because that one logged me out. You test all this stuff ahead of time, and then it just never goes that way. Oh man, I got bumped from the first page on Testify. So, share. Right, so on Testify, we've got all of these folks who made it to 100. Oh wait, that's why I'm not safety scores. All these folks that made it to 100 safety score, and I am number 23 at 844 miles. I've still got one more trip to go tonight before Elon tweeted early this morning that on this evening we should see the download for FSD Beta 10.2 for everyone who's got a 100 score and everyone else who's already in the semi-private beta that was already out there. So this is exciting because you know my way of analyzing all these updates, and assuming that there's no NDA to sign or anything like that, I'll be giving you guys everything I know, and as well as coming in and testing whatever is to be tested and whatever you guys throw at me that I can safely try and see how it behaves. All right, so let's see. On Tesla Scope, it's not. I don't know if the folks over there are just better drivers or there's more of them that turn on the score or what, but on that one I'm only number 31, and that one shows 844 miles, which is interesting. Yep, that's right, Dan, a leaderboard. And let's see if I can't safely share my safety score without giving away too much information. Yep, so let's do that as well. So this breakdown is coming from Tesla Scope, and they'll tell you, you can see this stuff in the app, but they give you a little more granularity, so I can see 1.18 and 0.20. I can only see 0.2 and 1.1 in the Tesla app, and you can see the safety score 100, and they give you a detailed breakdown. They're just saying 99.48, but you really have to be at 99.5 something for it to round up to 100. But I had one day where I drove less than a mile, so I have a feeling that's messing up their calculation of it. But what they do, I really enjoyed, was they give you how many miles you need to reach your 100 score. So that's why I did that 400 mile drive. It was actually supposed to be 200 miles, and then something happened, and I had not a forward collision warning because I got 0 of them, but something happened with a hard braking or hard turning because of traffic, and then I had to do another 200 miles. And then as I hit the 100, it changed down to negative or 0 depending on how they were calculating this, which is nice if you would like to get in and you don't have to drive more than a couple 100 miles. You might be able to get in on it as well this evening, and that's at Tesla Scope. Let me see if I can't share my referral codes. That way you guys get some free time on Tesla Scope. I've got Testify in my socials. Let's see here. My membership. This will get you some free weeks on Testify in the chat there. Street with show pray. Oh my goodness. Me too. Me too, Anders, because if I did all this work and it didn't count for anything, I'll be a little frustrated, to say the least. Hockey Day. Tesla employee at Giga Berlin stated they could be up and running within 2 hours of final permit. I believe that. From the videos I saw inside of Giga Berlin, they looked like Fremont as far as, well, better than Fremont, but as far as like they had all the sides of the vehicles ready, they had everything lined up, and the robots were going through their motion. It looks like all they got to do is load them in, and they're good to go. So let's with that, let's actually start with Giga Berlin and the shareholder briefing, just because that's a whole separate window for me. So might as well do it. Be upset with the rest of the people we know. No, I mean I'll be upset if I don't get it, and it was and I did all that work. I'll be happy for anyone who does get it, and I'll also be upset for whoever is the one that ruins this for us all. We know there'll be one. Great HD. Let's see. Let me get the right screen. Yep. I'm just going to share the whole browser window rather than flip through a bunch of different tabs on this one. So we went through the shareholder meeting, and it was a couple hours. It felt like a couple hours. Yeah, it was an hour and a half. And here's some of the items that people picked out of it. Tesla noted that Elon clarified during the shareholder meeting that all customers with a perfect safety score, which he later has also just said 100, we don't know. These decimals can't be seen outside of the app, so with this, let me just finish reading what they said. I'll with a perfect safety score, we'll get the beta tomorrow at midnight, and then we'll go out to vehicle at 99, 80, etc., and then there'll be a cutoff point. He was joking when he said 60%. It was noted that when they asked him what his score was, he didn't know what it was, and then it turned out that didn't happen at midnight. It was delayed. And hey, it's Kyle. Actually, I got one of yours on the Mazda in here for today. Yes, we absolutely need to get together. I can't wait. And so the safety score situation, Elon said that it would go up for the amount of people getting in. So if it was literally a perfect score, as in no failures, no infractions, then the number couldn't go up, except if he was counting on people pushing the button and then aging into their 7 days or more after the fact, because the very nature of that definition of perfect would mean that the number would go down. So the way that myself and several others interpreted it is, if Elon's expecting another 200 people to get into the program by the time it launched yesterday, that means that he's counting the 100 scores to us. We've been tracking this little vehicle, and I thought it was too, and I'm halfway through your video, and I was like, wow, I can't believe they did that. I hope that they can sell the Cybertruck here in Sweden and the EU. That's one of the things that was brought up, and I didn't get into the document, but it looks like Elon will at least try to get him to the EU, even if he has to make him a little smaller. Hopefully they can just bring him over, and then I don't know if they'll do a right-hand drive or not. It's going to depend on how well it sells as a left-hand drive. All right, so that was the safety score aspect of it all. We'll skip GigaFest for now because, like I said, they were all kind of munged together. Sawyer noted that Elon specified that they're going to try to make the Cyberquad in Giga, Texas, and it's going to be the safest ATV on the planet, according to Elon, because it's going to have a low center of gravity, and they're going to put some of the other Tesla secret sauce into it. Because that was a question that some folks had, getting him to jive why he won't make a motorcycle, but yet he'll make an ATV, which is a lot more dangerous than a motorcycle statistically. Apparently, his solution to that is his ATV won't be like other ATVs, and so that's why it doesn't fall into the motorcycle problem. Bill Lee got a hold of this belt buckle. Says, "Don't mess with Texas." That's a Tesla T in the middle there. And so what that is referring to is they moved the headquarters. Elon promised this months ago, and then one of the local politicians had some vulgar words to share, and Elon said, "Understood." And the next day he announced they were moving. And we saw when they announced how many cars they sold this quarter, that actually was listed as coming from Austin, Texas, rather than Palo Alto, California. And then they made it official with the shareholder meeting. Let's see. Some other information that came out is Tesla bought all 26% of all battery cells in the auto industry for 2020, even though they only sold 0.7% of cars. So this is why he keeps saying, just give them cells at a reasonable price and they'll buy them. And this further goes to that. Of course, they're also still going to make their own cells. He also mentioned it would be morally right to license full self-driving to other automakers that want it, especially on the safety aspects. And then a bunch of people got twisted about that because they thought that it meant that somebody with Ford or Chevrolet could get FSD before they did, even though they bought their car in 2016. I don't interpret it that way because in order for Legacy Auto to buy something, they want it done. They don't want to be doing updates all the time. And he does have all these people that have paid money from 2016 onward that will be in line first. Now, they may all get it at the same time, but I doubt that as well. We'll see how it goes, but it's not as much of an issue as people were making it out to be. And this is what we've been saying with the autonomous driving is if it is as good as we think it is, then it's going to be to the point where basically on the highways and stuff, you probably want the people to have to switch into manual mode intentionally rather than letting drunk and sleepy people just out there on the streets. Especially all those people who can't be bothered to drive. So at least this way, if they're manually driving, they have said, "Hey, I'm here, I'm present." So we'll see what happens with that and how it's perceived legally and socially. This guy James, he said that he noted that and it's right, I saw it in the presentation, that Shanghai is producing 50% more vehicles than Fremont already, and that's incredible. What's up, Marcus?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing well. How you doing?
Good. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. And then this is Tesserati confirming the same thing about Giga Shanghai already exceeding the Fremont factory's output. This one was an interesting little tidbit. I didn't catch all of this that Tesserati put out. They said that the Tesla Roadster will finally get an updated release date. I'd heard him throwing out dates. He said when the Cybertruck was coming, which is end of next year. Semi-truck probably the same. New Model Y early next year, obviously, with the two new factories coming out. And it seemed that the Roadster was something that, hey, we'll try to get to it in 2 years. And let's see, yeah, in 2023. So the Semi and the Cybertruck are a lot more important to the company, and the Roadster is a halo car, so I don't see them rushing on that. Let's see. Is it all union related? No. Tesla doesn't have too many union shops. They've got Tesla Automation and a couple of their other shops, but on the whole, they're not. Hey Zach, and let's see. The yoke wheel fold into the steering column. I don't know if they'll actually do it that way, Dan, but that would be really cool if it was like what is that? Minority Report, the Fifth Element, something like that. That would be kind of cool. See the steering yoke just fold up and get out of the way, rather than Elon's idea of putting a cap on it and making it go away. Robert Williams says hello. He's feeding the cat. Cool. All right, so then, oh yeah, so we talked about the Cyber Quad already, but there's a picture of it. I thought that was pretty cool, and so he suggested that if you are getting your Cybertruck, you're going to want to go ahead and select that option for the Cyber Quad. So that, it also sounds like they're not stepping away from that combo deal where you can only get the ATV, the Cyber Quad, if you've bought the Cybertruck. What a couple of folks and I were discussing is perhaps maybe even if you don't want a quad, get it anyway, and then you can get it to somebody who has the Cybertruck that made the mistake of not picking it and regrets it. What is the power of the Cyber Quad? Yeah.
Where I must have missed that. Where you can order it now? I must
Not
have
yet.
missed that
When we go to do our final
Oh,
config. Yeah.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on now. Let me get on this ASAP.
You know what? That's another good point. So for the folks who ordered a fleet of them for work, they could actually then also open like an electric ATV park. And they'd pay for themselves.
Yeah.
So the power of the cyber, yeah, the power of the Cyber Quad is unreleased. But if we saw what Rich could do with a motorcycle crammed into an ATV, I'm sure that a professional company could do even better than that. So I'm excited. All right, and as an afterthought, like Elon had so much news going on this year's meeting that he totally forgot about Megafactory, and then like somebody asked him how much it made, and he didn't even remember. And one of the managers there reminded him that it's going to be 40 gigawatt hours of megapacks per year out of the Lathrop facility at the planned launch. As we know with Tesla, they're not going to stick to that 40. It's going to go up. That is phenomenal because megapacks are going to be what we need, not just from Tesla, but also from the competitors to enable renewables at full grid scale, because the renewables don't always make power when we want to use power. So in order to use that solar power at night, for instance, or to use the wind power during the day, or whatever the case may be, the hydro, who knows, being able to buffer the grid and everything like that means that you don't need as many peaker plants, which means that you could do like a base nuclear if you wanted to. Or if we do as Elon says, 100 square miles of renewables and 1 square mile of batteries for the whole country, and then we just replicate that all over the world. So you're going to need the batteries from somewhere, and the Megapack factory is one place to do that. Trevor noted that Giga Berlin will make more... more... Wait, no, this isn't the same. So Trevor noted that Giga Berlin will make more Teslas per year than all electric cars sold in Europe per year. That is incredible. They'll hopefully achieve a sustained cycle time of 45 seconds at 75% uptime. An average week, that's 10,000 per week if run 24/7. So let's see. That is 52,000 vehicles if run 24/7 in the first year. Goodness. All right, and then these guys did a live blog of it over at Tesserati, Simon and co. And let's see if anything else stood out that I missed. Elon noted that lithium is plentiful, as well as all the other metals and minerals that they use in the battery. So all the doom and gloom and people complaining about cobalt, he basically reiterated they're not going to use cobalt going forward in their batteries. And he said the way he phrased that was that it's for laptops and phones, which I thought was pretty cool. All right, so then they immediately got into the audience questions. There was a little bit of the boring bit at the top, and I don't know, did they announce the results of the voting? They just said that they had enough votes to know the answer, but then they told you how to change your vote before it closed. Imports of solar and batteries, minibus. He said that he's a fan of the original VW minibus, and he claimed that he didn't know anything about the VW ID Buzz, which is possible. He's a busy guy, but with all the time he spent with Mr. D, so I can't believe that it didn't come up at all. But that doesn't mean it didn't go in one ear and out the other. Especially since that concept is over 10 years old now. Come on, VW, hurry up. Elon noted that the gigafactories might not necessarily be bigger by footprint, but of course we know the Tesla way, they're going to be bigger by output. And they're going to be more alien dreadnoughty. He said that he thinks that dividends are for old companies that have run out of ideas and don't have anything to invest in, implying that they have a lot of stuff to invest in. And we could see that as they're building factories around the world and implementing new product lines year over year. Let's see. He noted that Tesla Energy was sacrificial to Tesla Automotive. There's the bit about the Roadster. The questions on Say were interesting. With that, Elon confirmed, stop calling it the Deadgum Model 2 because it doesn't exist. There is no Model 2. It's not a car. He once again reiterated the story of why the Model 3 is a 3. It's a 3 because in computer nerd speak, you can change a 3 to represent an E. So when Ford killed Sex, S-E-X and Y, they put it into as a 3 so that Ford couldn't say anything about it. And let's see. They're going to continue to expand in California, but they're going to expand more in Texas. He went on to how ecological the Texas plant will be. They're going to make it an environmental haven for hiking and all that sort of stuff. And those were the big ones that I noted. Did anyone notice anything else that they were excited about the annual shareholders conference? So here is the Brandenburg County Fair. Did not mean to do it all that way. Let's go back. So
let me ask you quick. Did you mention already about the? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, did you mention about the about the moving to Texas?
I did.
Oh, okay.
So this is a live shot of GigaFest in Berlin the other day, and this is a video by Tesla. And I always love seeing inside these factories. They are just a whole other level than all the other car factories I've been in. That's a part of the GigaPress. And these are actually the headlights that were going there. And then they actually have two new colors that we know of. There's a new blue, and then there's the red that we saw on Elon's prototype plaid. And so it was a good way to do recruiting for the factory, as well as to get a lot of the astroturfers off their back to show, hey, look, here's what we're doing, here's how environmental it is. Lets the locals know, hey, this is what's being done in your backyard, and it was a good interaction with the neighborhood. They had about 9,000 people there. Some were not locals, but most of them were from their town. And then, as I pointed out, this was a active headlight demo. It's not legal in the U.S. at present, but apparently it may become at the next revision of the DOT codes. Hopefully it does, because we are dinosaurs. So basically, they just had the front end of the car there, and it was doing a matrix presentation.
So,
yeah.
I didn't know it was the headlights.
That's the headlights.
I didn't know it was the headlights.
Yeah.
That is dope.
It is. So then another thing that came out of Giga Berlin is the Cybertruck rear megacasting is going to include the bed for the vault. The vault is what Tesla calls the rear end of the Cybertruck. Most folks would call it the pickup box. So that is part of the reason why they're going to need a 8,000 ton, 8,000 pound, 8,000 pound or 8-ton gigapress, because the
Man,
Cybertruck is not a small vehicle, and the Model Y front and rear casts were already a 6-ton gigacast machine, so they needed to go bigger. And this is exciting because it means that they're not going to try to go unibody, they're not going to try to go body on frame. The truck will be built body on frame style, but with the stressed skin like an aircraft. It's actually going to be very rigid and very strong. So you're going to have this big chunk of the bed there already ready to go. You're going to have the front end just like the Model Y. And then when you add that stressed skin over the outside, I think that when Chevy comes through and tries to do their twisty frame test like they did with the Ford and made the Ford bend up, they won't be able to do that with the Cybertruck. So that'll be exciting.
man, I can't wait to that. Man. I could hide so much good stuff up
Right?
in there while we at the track. Man,
Yes. And so we've seen Tesla Tequila, and now we have Giga Beer. So there are no details on the Giga Beer except that it's coming soon. And hopefully it'll be available worldwide, but it may be in Germany only. We'll see. I think I'll add it up to my shelf where the Tesla Tequila was if I can get my hands on it. We'll see how that goes. And yep, so there was a GigaFest party. All right, so now into the regular news. Let's see, get my bearings back. So this one was a fun one. We discussed on. Yes, we did discuss it on the Tesla Life show. The folks at Volkswagen, they had a rah-rah press announcement about how they're catching up to Tesla, they're doing so great. But then, in that same meeting, they had what they called a crisis meeting. And they... Let's just read some choice quotes from it all. During the meeting, Herbert Diess, the CEO of VW, said that Tesla set a new standard. They built a Model 3 in just 10 hours, which is a third of the time that it takes them to build one ID3, which is a much smaller car. So it takes them 30 hours to make a smaller, cheaper car. And what else did he say? Is that from the rah-rah side or is that from the critical side? Yeah. So basically, I wish I had the items up I had when I was doing that show. VW is running scared, and they know that they're not doing so hot. So there's a chance they could survive this because if you can see it, you can adjust for it. If you're in denial, you can't do anything about it. And as I keep saying, the ID4 is the Camry of EVs. It's unoffensive, it's slow, it's cheap, but it could be cheaper. As Sandy Munro saw when he tore that thing to pieces, it's not built the way that it could be built. So there's opportunity there. This is also from Drive Tesla Canada. Tesla has increased the price of the Model 3 and Model Y by as much as $2,000 in the US. The Canadian prices are unaffected, but again, the international prices, they don't tend to move as fast as the US prices because they have to make up for local tax, well, not local taxes, they have to make up for the exchange rates. So you might see that move in a few weeks. And the reason for the price increase is just that they are selling everything they can, so there's no point in keeping them at the lower price when they need to slow down the demand. So this will get them more profit and achieve that effect.
you think the Cybertruck gonna go up
No,
soon?
well, not the ones that are already paid for
Okay.
or reserved anyway.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. All right, so we've all had training at work. Well, Chevrolet is training Bolt salesmen on why their vehicle is competitive with the Model 3. They said that it's longer range. They said the Model 3 is longer range than the Bolt at 263 miles. They said there are two available powertrains, which Chevy loves to have choices of engines, and they don't on the Bolt. You can get 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. I like the way they said that. They went for the slowest one, because if they went for the Model 3 Performance, they they would have really embarrassed themselves there at 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds. Available all-wheel drive and a dedicated supercharger network, which is interesting that they did spell it that way. It's not correct. For their cons, I thought their cons were a little interesting. They said that there's higher MSRP from $39.9, which is true. Yes, it is slightly more expensive. But then they said there's limited showroom and service stations, which is not a lie. Then they said there's a minimal interior. That's not exactly a con. That's more of a differentiator, because some folks like the minimal aesthetic, some folks don't. Then they said it's a distracting 15-inch infotainment screen compared to their 7-inch non-distracting infotainment screen. Yeah, sure. And then they said no physical knobs and switches for basic controls, which is not exactly accurate, because you do have those two knobs and voice command button. And some folks, again, don't want all the buttons and switches. And they said no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which is true. And if that's important to you, keep hammering at Tesla to get that in there if you want a Tesla. So I just found it to be a little amusing, the way that they had to go and try and find things to do their counter sales. And it's interesting. Oh, I opened it twice. All right. And next we had Car and Driver went in on, it's nothing particularly new here, but it's nice to see it all in one article and thoroughly researched. They were asking how did the Chevrolet Bolt situation get to be the way it was, because it wasn't just batteries from the Korean LG factory. It was numerous LG factories. And so they went in and they realized that it was a matter of the process. And that there was the two defects we talked about. One is the torn anode, and then the other one was the debris in the or the defects, if you will. And it's a nice read over at Car and Driver. And then TechCrunch was getting into the Rivian R1T and their IPO. Remember, this is just a couple dudes on the internet. It's not stock advice, blah, blah, blah. We're not financial advisors. It's not our job. But it was interesting. Rivian is doing an IPO now that they've got the R1T out, which I still think is the better way for these companies to be doing their IPOs and SPACs, is to actually exist. We've got a lot of companies that did SPACs that don't exist anymore, and they took a lot of people's money and ran. That's correct, Eddie. Tesla doesn't do Android Auto or CarPlay. They both demand a full screen interface, and well, the Tesla screens are huge, and they don't scale up to that size. And even if they did, there's so much wasted space. There is a project right now that allows you to run Android Auto in the web browser on the Teslas, if that's something you're interested in. Maybe I'll try it out and we'll make a video on it, or at least look it over on this live stream in the future. Let me know down below if that's something you guys are interested in. Yeah, so Rivian's IPOing. I personally think that it's going to start out high and then disappoint a lot of people. And then eventually they'll stable out. But again, I'm no expert. Okay, so Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, he bought a Model S Plaid. I'm assuming used, because it had the Plaid badge that one of the 25 cars from launch, and at launch he was talking about how he wasn't going to get it, but he got it anyway. So he's thinking that his might be the highest Model S Plaid out there at 6,806 miles. And then he goes on to say he's completely gotten used to the yoke to the point where if given an option to switch to a normal wheel, I would not take it. I will never get used to performance. Everything else is ruined. Laughing out loud. And there's his Model S Plaid. Did he get that wrapped? It looks like he's got a little stealth wrap on there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
And I noticed
he got a matte satin color.
Satin, yeah. And it looks like he's got red brakes. But again, if it's one of the original 25, I think that the original 25... No, they didn't. Because the one that Elon had on stage had black brakes. So he might have added that as well. I like my car.
Hey, you remember me telling you that a couple shows ago?
You did. You did. You said
Yeah,
just people gotta get used to it.
If I could put it in my 13, I would. If I could put it in my 13, yes, I would.
And then this guy asked him, what are your thoughts compared to the Mercedes EQS? Because Marquez did get a chance to ride in the EQS, and he found the electronics to be slow. He says it's a totally different planet. If I could get the interior quality of the EQS, but none of the design or layout chaos, I totally would. So we just keep hearing again and again from the folks that have the yoke that it actually have used it and have used it for more than a couple minutes. It's not a big deal. And in fact, as Marquez and Marcus have both said, it's not just no big deal. It is their desire. It's preference now. So try stuff before you knock it. So then we've got a Model S Plaid acceleration video that came from Dan. And we know that the Model S Plaid is faster than the P100D. So I just kind of wanted to get this particular part of this video to share with you guys. This is the P100D. This is Plaid. He let him get the head start, and then he eats him for dinner. Gone. Wow, look at the difference there.
Let's.
I am so tempted to get the Plaid Model X, but if I do that, I won't be able to get my Cybertruck. So I just need to calm down. All right, so this one is coming out of China, and
get it, then sell it later.
No,
you ain't gonna want to let it go.
That's right.
Decisions.
Well, I already committed myself to an Aptera and a Cybertruck. I think I've got enough vehicles for one driver. Because the current Model X isn't going anywhere. What do we need two Model X's for? One's just a little bit faster, and a little bit better design and all that. But so this guy, former Tesla Model S owner, says Tesla is suing him over negative social media posts. You gotta be careful with slander, guys. Stick to what's said. Before if you've sued a large company, you should probably consult with your lawyer before you talk about them online or in the news media, because they have deep pockets, and as Dan would say, they're really petty. So yeah, just if you win against a large company, just take your money and just disappear. It's the easiest way to handle it. So now this guy won $233,000 or 1.5 million won, and now Tesla is suing him for $775,000 or 5 million won. So this isn't the case with the guy, the gal who couldn't admit that her dad was a bad driver and kept saying that the car had bad brakes. This is totally different. He bought a car that had been in a wreck, and it's the same thing as here, where if a car's been in a minor wreck, you can fix it up and resell it, and that's what happened to him, that I understand. And then apparently he couldn't let it go. What up, yo? The Amazon EV van is out now. I don't think so. I think that they're still in testing. Yeah. So this photo out of the UK is one that I wish Omar was here for. Tesla Owners UK is eyes and eyeball and heart eyes. Another organization I spotted today converting to Tesla. Look at that. It's actually bigger in the crop. Got a full police spec Model S. Oh, sorry, Model S. Model 3 Performance. You can see the red brakes peeking through the Uber turbines. Not bad. There's in the house. That's right. All right. So Morgan Stanley was looking at Tesla's performance last quarter and was asking how they were able to get the chips. And it was a decent article. But one thing that stuck out to me was that the Tesla didn't just ask for more automotive chips, because the automotive chips are usually of an older process. Tesla just said, "Hey, give us the current chips." So they're using new computer chips in their new cars. That is unheard of in the car world, because they're using chips that are anywhere from 4 to 12 years old when they put them in a brand new car model for the current year that you're looking at, and they aren't the chips that get priority when the fabs are running at full output, especially after you cancel your orders. And so Tesla being able to implement new computer chips that are being used in the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One X allowed them to kind of just tag on to what was already being produced and more readily obtain their chips. As well as we've seen in previous shows where they are putting in new chips altogether and writing firmware as the cars come out. That's part of the beauty of them not waiting for quarters or years to do their software updates. They do anywhere from 1 to 6 software updates in a month, and it allowed them to succeed. So got some good news for the Ford Mustang Mach-E fans. The 2022 model year is going to get a small battery bump, as well as 2023, 2024, and 2025. Same thing we saw with both Chevrolet with the Volt, the plug-in hybrid, and every Tesla, and some of the Nissan Leafs. I think there were a couple of years where Nissan skipped an upgrade, but generally Nissan also went for an upgrade. So the SR is going to go from 211 to 217, all-wheel drive. The SR rear-wheel drive is going to go from 230 to 237. The extended range all-wheel drive goes from 270 to 279. Extended range rear-wheel drive goes from 300 to 310. And the California Route 1 rear-wheel drive goes from 305 to 315. So there they are. They've caught up to the Model 3. Not bad. Let's see. The Route 1 will get an all-wheel drive version. Heated front seat steering costs you $2,300. Not available on the entry-level select, but can be optional. See, this is what's going to get you. You gotta. I understand it helps with planning your ordering and your projections and everything, but you can't. This is old school thinking right here. Just make them check boxes. Let me customize what I want to order and let it come out. It's easier. They're either all custom or they're all exactly the same. Just saying.
I agree.
Robert sent me a Twitter pic of the Amazon van. All right, I'll take a look at that in a little bit. Because they did their testing all over the U.S. and I think that they're now testing all over the world, about to do their first real deliveries. Honda is getting into the electric jets. They're going to have an electric vertical takeoff and landing airplane. We'll see. I don't think that the actual Honda jet is really for sale yet, is it? the gas one? It's been in prototype for like 15 years. So, just like Eddie used to say about Rivian, I'm gonna say, hey, yeah, we'll see it when it happens. But I'm glad it's electric. Electrify all the things. All right, so I said air and SpaceX. So that was the air. Let's get into SpaceX now. All right, so the Falcon 9 is going to launch the first planetary defense mission to attempt an asteroid redirection. This is going to occur in two methods. First, they're going to do a kinetic trial, and what that involves is they're going to hit an asteroid with a heavy weight, and we'll see if it moves. Mathematically, we know it's going to work. It'll move. The question is, will it be useful? Then the next thing they're going to do is they're going to put a large object in front of the path of an asteroid and slowly redirect that large object to see if the asteroid will follow it. Mathematically, again, that should work, but this is one that, we have no way. It's all in theory, but now we need to try it and see if it works. The kinetic, we already know it works. We every time we hit something, it moves. We did the several ice missions where we slam stuff into asteroids and comets to try and see what comes up. Or we had the one from Japan where it was the Hayabusa mission where we actually scooped up a piece and brought it back. So I guess it's just being thorough on the kinetic side. But this one where they basically put the satellite put the asteroid in the satellite's wake and try and kind of nudge it. That has only been done in theory, and I would love to see that it works. Last week we had a surprise. Was a meteor that came at us, and we didn't even know it. It came from the sun side. Most meteors come from the Earth side to the sun, so we can see them coming at us. But this one came from the sun, and so our not from the sun, but from behind. The sun was in our eyes when we were looking at it through our telescopes. So we didn't see it till after it had passed us, and it came pretty close. It was between us and the moon. All right, so let's look at another SpaceX. This one's even more exciting. Next year, they're going to have 3 Falcon Heavy missions in under 6 months, if all goes well. One of the missions that was scheduled for the end of this year has been pushed back to make sure that the payload was ready, and this is going to be exciting. That Falcon Heavy shirt, the black one with the FH on it, is the Falcon Heavy shirt. The reason you see me wear that, I actually saw the demo mission where they launched Elon's car into space, and my wife and I, we had a blast, and can't wait to try it again. How will the loop go later? On the flying bump. Oh man, that would be terrible. Which loop? The hyperloop, the boring loop, or I'm not sure exactly which loop we're referring to here. Yep. So let's see if they say who is flying. Military payload. That's the one that's been delayed. Do they say the others? Okay. All right. So I also talked about. I said Tesla lawsuits. It wasn't just them suing that Chinese guy. Tesla suing Rivian. They allege that Rivian has stolen battery tech, and Rivian is mad that Tesla took so long to say what it is that they're being accused of, and that it happened to come out right before their IPO. Again, petty. Oh, it's a shame if something happened to your IPO there. Oh, but if this is true, then they're saying that Rivian hired away some people who brought some trade secrets with them, and then the argument is, well, what about the Tesla's open patents? Yes, patents are open as long as you follow the process, but intellectual property is not the patents. So they may say this is a method of attaching a sunroof, and you can do it the same way, but you can't then just use their blueprints. Of the asteroids, yes. So they're going to look and see if the orbit has changed, and if the orbit has changed successfully, they may use that in the future to see if it's something they want to pursue, because you may redirect it away from Earth now, but then if the next go around it actually hits the Earth, it's versus a chance of not hitting it. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm excited to see the results. Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out, and the timing couldn't be worse for Rivian because Jeff Bezos also tweeted at them, "Where are my trucks? Where are my vans?" And so not a good thing to have show up before they have their IPO. And then there was another lawsuit regarding racial words used at the Tesla factory, and here's Tesla's response to what happened. And a couple friends and I, we were talking about this, and it felt that this was a little too not. It was kind of a soft response to what happened, and they say they have processes in place to change this, and I'd like to see that. But they're not the only ones who have racial problems in the factories, and that people shouldn't have to put up with that while they're working. And some folks will point out that the words were being used between minorities, which is true, but in a professional setting, that shouldn't be the case. My nephew's there. I wonder what he says about this. Yeah, ask him and let us know on the next one because I'm curious. And some folks tried to pick this man apart because he waited to see if he got the job, allegedly, before he went through with the suit. I'm currently in a lawsuit with the company right now, and it's not moving very quickly. So who knows what the real case is there? It may have just taken that long to go through the court, and I'm happy for him. That was a lot of money, and as a shareholder, I think it should have been less. It's still substantial, but that's a lot of money. But a lot of folks are picking it apart and trying to question the guy's motives, saying like, hey, he sent his relatives to work there, and I don't think that's the right answer to pick him apart. Literally, what we need to be looking at is what are their new processes? Do they work? Will we see an improvement on next year's diversity report when Tesla comes through and says, hey, this is what our situation is? Last year they said, hey, this is what our situation is. We're not the best. And I like the way that they put that and that they committed to working on it. And in fact, the VP of People, Valerie, she is a minority, and she's been put in place to help them focus on not making these mistakes again. So, I'd like to see them do better. I'd like to see everybody do better. And some of our friends have noted that this is not new to that factory. That factory had problems like these, or worse, even before when it was a part of General Motors and Toyota. Let's get on to more fun stuff. Vincent Yu points out that Tesla has extended their dominance in Norway with over 40% EV market share in September, which is true. And he did that on his Tesla Manian site. But then somebody else took it a step further and noted that Tesla has 32% market share of all car registrations in Norway for September, fossil or whatever. So here we are, Tesla at 32.1%. I guess that's an 11% change, or for the year. I'm not sure because I can't read. Toyota at 6, Volkswagen 8. Why is interesting the way that this? Okay, so this must be annual, and that's September, so that would keep Toyota there. Volkswagen, Volvo, BMW, Ford, Audi, Skoda, and Benz. This is incredible. And then make sure it adds up to 100. Wow. So 14,000 and 5,000. It's 5,000 September, 14,000 for the year. Goodness gracious. So this is what we keep saying. Like, once you have these mandates in place for the EVs, the cumulative is more accurate because Tesla ships in batches. Yeah. Anyway, so as you have these EV mandates in place, nobody wants to be the bag holder. So you're not going to have very many sales in the last year where it's okay to sell a gas car. People are going to go EV before that, and this is exciting. Do any go to sell in the U.S.? I don't know that they still sell them in the U.S. But that was just Norway. But Norway is one of the leaders in EV penetration. And let's see. So as I was talking with Kyle earlier in the show, he had a good review of the Mazda MX-30 and the worst EV of the year, and I drive it. So I'm going to finish this video after the show, but I think that you all should watch it as well. It's as bad as we thought it would be, as we've been watching it over the weeks since they announced this thing. And he pointed out that it is going to be a compliance car. It's only going to be sold in California initially, so it looks more like they are just avoiding their pollution fees than anything. It's also going to be a plug-in hybrid, and that's not out yet. He pointed out that they didn't even bother to put a frunk in it. It's based on I forgot what SUV he said it was, but in here is where the hybrid engine would go, and he suggested that why not put a frunk in there? It's not hard, and he's right. I'm so disappointed by that car. I was so excited when Mazda said they were going to do an EV, and then they did that. It was trash. So let's get back on the Tesla sales here. Yeah, it was sloppy, Eddie. The Model 3 outsold every other car in the UK in September of 2021, with 6,879 cars delivered. This is incredible. Of course, the next couple months they'll be under because of the way they do their shipments, but that's fine. My goodness. All right, let's see. While I got this open, let's take a look at this picture here. Yeah, that is a van, but I don't know that it's. I think this is the Transit, not the Rivian, because Amazon also bought some Ford Transits for electric, because they're trying to make the whole fleet electric, and Rivian wasn't making enough of them even with their order. So that looks like the Transit to me, because the Rivian is blue, kind of blue gray, but very bright blue. Unless it's a mule, it could be one of the mules, like a production intent test. Shake it down, make sure it can handle the roads, maybe. But that's exciting. And that was just another copy of the UK registrations. All right, so then Inside EVs was wondering about the Hummer EV. They think it's an example of how GM is going to speed up their development because it was done in 2 years instead of 4, and they leaned heavily on software to get this done, new techniques, and we'll see how it works out for them. It's a big difference when you normally take 6 years to do something, 4 years when you're really racing through, to do it in 2 and 6. Woo. They did a lot of stuff virtually, and it appears to have paid off for them. We'll see when it actually hits the road. They're all pre-sold at over $100,000 a piece, and it'll be curious to see how the lower trims work out. And it's not like GM doesn't know how to make an EV, so I think these will be all right. It'll be fun to watch. Then folks were asking, especially at Inside EVs, why is the Mercedes EQC 4x4 still being tested? And that's one aggressive looking little compact SUV to me. Look at that. My suggestion for why they're still testing is it's about to be wintertime, so why not, since it's not on sale? Don't you want to test it right up until it hits the streets? I mean, because these are software-defined cars, so you can tweak them all the way up to the end. So I also mentioned more IPOs from companies that have actually built cars. So we had Rivian already, and we had Polestar last week. Now Volvo themselves, the folks who gave us Polestar, they plan a $2.9 billion IPO to fund their EV ambitions. Again, not a stock show, but if you're into that, it's something you might want to speak with your team about. I still like the idea that they made the cars first, because then they're not, just peddling weirdness, hopes and dreams. If you have a dog and a Tesla Model 3S or Y, or a cat, I've got a pet really. They have this pet liner that's available in the Tesla store for your pet to not mess up the interior of your car. Some folks asked if it came in white. It does not. And the reason suggested for that is because most pets, their leavings show up extra on white. And so it's only $145 compared to some solutions I've seen that don't necessarily do all that well. I like the mesh so they can look at you through the through the seat, like, hey, what are you doing up there? That's what the pets like to do. So it comes with one pet liner and two door protectors. Not compatible with all Model S, 3, and Y vehicles. Interesting. So let's see if they say which ones it does work with. It's a 3-piece set, features a durable water-resistant hammock-style liner and two door protectors. They don't say which ones it doesn't work on. So I guess you'd want to do this from the app or your Tesla account page to make sure that it actually works with your car before you go and spend $150. That, or make sure that you have a friend who can take it from you. But that's exciting news. Also, the CHAdeMO adapter is gone, and the CCS adapter in in South Korea is now on sale, and it only supports Model 3 and Model Y. Hopefully by the time it comes to the US, because South Korea uses the same plug as we do, hopefully by that time we'll have it work with our entire fleet. Because, more ways to charge is always good. Not mine, exactly, yeah. I think I could get it to work on Model X, though, because the 7-seat and the 5-seat have a bench. But there's probably a reason they said it the way they did, and the X is wider, longer, and taller than every other Tesla, so I don't know that it'd be worth $150 to find out. Unless it's going to give it away when I'm done. But I don't have a pet, so. It does have holes to be able to safely put the safety belts. I didn't look that closely. I would hope so. Most of the aftermarket ones I've seen do have that. All right, so we talked about the Model 3 and Model Y price increase. They're now at $54,900 and $51,490 respectively. And let's see if yeah, so let me move this up. No, not out, up. The computer's trying to be helpful and it's not. So with that price increase, that now does something really interesting, something I've been wondering since this product was announced. The Cybertruck is now the cheapest Tesla that you can order today. The Cybertruck launches at $39,000, which I always thought was a little odd because it was at the price that the Model Y was coming in at, and just slightly more expensive than a Model 3. And other than the folks who don't like trucks, think this thing is ugly, or don't want something this big because of where they live, I was wondering why more people wouldn't just pick the Cybertruck. And as Marcus was saying, I think that what's going to happen is after they fulfill their initial promises, we'll probably see if everything isn't back to normal by the time this thing ships, I think we'll see the new orders for the Cybertruck after the initial push. I think we'll see them get adjusted very quickly, probably $5,000 a week, just like we saw all year with the 3 and the Y. They were going up in price: $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $500. I think that this will quickly be a $60,000 to $70,000 entry-level truck if the market doesn't recover as far as being able to make the batteries, get the chips they need, and get all the other ancillary parts to make the truck. But I don't think that they are going to make any major adjustments to what they showed us for the reservation holders. They can, they've reserved the right, but they haven't done it in the past. So they did cancel the standard range Model Y though, so I think that's more of the lines of what they're looking to do. If they have to, I don't see them trying to do anything special with it. But so this is an interesting op-ed about the Cybertruck being the cheapest one. You order it for $100, $39.9, $10,000 for full self-driving, done. Or $69.9 for the tri-motor. What would you all do if it came down to getting the cheapest Tesla? Would that be something you'd be interested in? So there's a Canadian group that is tired of getting henpecked on EV taxes and all these other fees for not being polluters. They suggest, why don't we tax pedestrians? It's funny, I get it, but be careful. These governments might actually do it. I would say, why don't we just remove the subsidies from fossil fuels and make it fair that way? I mean, I understand everybody paying their fair share, but we're less than 2% of the market right now. They're not losing that much revenue on us EV drivers. In Sweden, the Model 3 long range is from 122, 781, 21. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's expensive. Oh, the Model S long range. Okay. I was about to say that's super expensive for a Model 3. Model S long range. Yeah, that's right up there with the Plaid price. Basically, the Plaid was $139, and they just raised it up to what, $160 now, Marcus?
You said the Plaid or the Plus?
The Plaid.
Right now, it went up. I didn't see last time. Let me see. Hold on. Because it's right now it's like 139.
139. Okay.
With the yeah.
And then it went up 10.
Let me see. Hold on a second,
all right.
Because I remember what's that?
I said that's substantial for a long range. 122 grand. Oof. You get a Model X for less than that these days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the long range right now before the specs is 90. And then the Plaid is 130.
Oh, it's still 130. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still 130 right now. But I was told it's going to probably creep up to another jump here, probably.
I believe it. I mean, especially after they've already done the 3 and the Y. So I wonder how much of that is tax, because they try to keep the price the same, but there's also, as I said, there could be drift in the exchange rate. They don't correct it very quickly. The good thing is they usually warn you before they do. Not always, but usually do. Hey, the price is about to go up, and then all the orders come streaming in. So this is... I get where they're going with it, but they really should have focused on the real problem. It's not people walking. And then, where did I go with that? We were talking about fossil fuels, so let's skip around a little bit. This isn't exactly where I was going. Wow, 157. Goodness gracious. Some of that's going to be shipping and taxes. So the Department of Energy, the U.S. Department of Energy, has reported that battery pack prices have decreased 87% since 2008, and we're headed closer to $100 per kilowatt hour. And we know that Tesla and GM are already there because GM got in trouble for sharing that information, and Tesla said their prices are nowhere near what the leaks were. So when you do the math, both of those companies are already below $100 a kilowatt hour. And we can kind of see that with the Plaid battery pack costing 22 grand and a 75 going for 9 and change, shipped, delivered, and installed. Tells you something right there. But this is good because if everybody's prices are coming down, then it makes it cheaper for everybody else to go electric. And then they gave us a chart, 2021 constant dollars and current dollars. So that's, how they say in current dollars. They've adjusted everybody's price. So it used to be in 2008, $1,200 per kilowatt hour. I believe that. And then 2013 is where it really took off. Or started leveling out, I should say. Really took off right there. That's impressive. All right, so let's see now if I can't find what I was actually going to say. There it is. Found it. Sorry. I moved them around, but they moved around again on their own. So speaking of taxes and subsidies, is the fossil fuel industry gets $11 million a minute in subsidies, according to the IMF. Trillions of dollars a year are adding fuel to the fire of climate change, crisis experts say. $11 million per minute. But yet EVs are the problem, and they need to be taxed to smithereens. Yeah. All you gotta do is just reduce some of their benefit, and it'll take care of itself. People are complaining that Tesla and the others are getting money for, and use the case is that they're not. It's their cars are, so their consumers are, and getting money to help get us to shift over. And $11 million a minute. This article in the chat. And they wonder why we can't shift. It's disgusting. Then, on that same vein, Tom Philpott found, absent any significant changes in policy or technology, global energy consumption will grow by almost 50% by 2020 and 2050, or between 2020 and 2050, according to a new report released Wednesday by the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Energy-related carbon dioxide emissions will also increase through 2050 due to economic and population growth, the report finds. We gotta electrify all the things, and we gotta get it off of fossils. It's the only way it's gonna work out.
Oh, goodness grief.
Yeah. Copy that link here for you guys to read the full article that came from. I mean, they're saying with the current push, things will continue to grow, which is true.
I think the help with this is the affordability. Affordability will definitely help.
Well, I mean, coal is cheap.
Okay, affordability meaning I just recently had experience with an electric school bus. Mm-hmm. However, the cost of sale is 3 times higher than the comparable ICE engine. So if you can bring that down to maybe even twice the amount, or maybe even 1/4 more, or maybe 25% more.
Even at the higher price, that will help reduce. The problem is the production is going to continue to grow with fossils, and we need to nip that in the bud. But we're not doing any nuclear. People are fighting. Oh, I don't want windmills in my backyard. Oh, solar is ugly. Get that off your house. It's like
the solar tower needs to come about sooner than later.
We'll see on that, but we can't just put this on individuals, because we all can do the right thing.
And no, I'm talking about like the buses. Like if I had the school bus system,
every municipality can do the right thing. But if the factories and the shipping and all of that are still being fed with coal or fuel oil,
that is true.
I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't give up and not do anything, because every little bit helps. But we do need the bigger contributors to also do their part. We need to put pressure on them to do the right thing, because if some company that's ordering stuff on an oil ship comes through and knows that you're not buying it because of that, and it starts to hurt them in the pocket, they might put a sale on that ship, or they might switch it to electric.
Or we need a company large enough to be, I would say large enough to be greedy enough, or large enough to be like, where can we save money? Like Amazon.
Amazon, Microsoft.
we need to save money. Let's buy, let's invest in this company so we ain't got to do the legwork and give us our stuff first.
Right. So Fort Lauderdale, we talked about them. This is coming from Drive Tesla Canada as well. Has been given the green light to begin their negotiations with the Boring Company for their underground tunnels. The 45 days passed on the opportunity for competing bids. Nobody came forward, and then the council voted. One person voted against. Everybody else voted for getting this pair of tunnels from downtown Fort Lauderdale to the beach. So there we go.
Okay, so who is going to vote against? I know by law they have to put it open so other people can bid on it. Obviously, there's no one to bid on an underground tunnel. But who's going to oppose an underground tunnel to go from the center of downtown or the airport to efficiently get you to the beach, which is obviously near Miami, which is everybody wants to get to? I don't get that. That one person.
Somebody who doesn't understand that the tunnels are sealed, or somebody who's got a vested interest in making it tough to get from downtown to the beach. Like maybe they own.
Well, they just got voted out, so. And even then, the tunnel's going to be full, so sometimes you just want to be surface level to get the stuff in between that. It's not a zero-sum game.
Well, it should take a lot of cars off the road, because remember, these are to be autonomous. They're all going to be emission free. It'll be interesting to see what proposal the city and Tesla and the Boring Company work out. And that one I'll go visit, because it'll probably happen before I get over to Vegas.
It's definitely a thing it's meant to take the congestion off. But there's still people that love the experience of going from point A to point B. Now, if you work in Fort Lauderdale Beach, this is the best. Like, you can just take a quick, Uber Lyft downtown and just shoot that straight line over. That's where it works for.
So our friends in Drive Tesla Canada are reporting that the registrations in Germany have risen 158% in September, as overall registrations plunged 26%. So the Tesla sales up, everything else down. And we wonder why earlier in the show Mr. Deese was pooping bricks about Tesla's capabilities compared to their own. And we're not just talking their electric cars, we're talking all cars. That is incredible. And I think this just shows that we're on the precipice, and EVs are the way to go. I understand that the folks
definitely.
I understand there's folks out there who say no cars. Yes, less cars would be better. No cars isn't going to happen anytime soon. So I mean, you got to get realistic with what you're asking for. Got a couple videos from Lucid for you guys.
Oh, Lucid.
Yeah, and they're muted because Lucid chose to put music on them. So this is what they call track testing. They've driven over 800,000 miles of testing. It's a much more fun video with the sound on it.
Is that a yoke steering wheel?
No. I thought it was pretty interesting, and the higher price cars, you want to be able to actually get something from them, and seeing them on the track is always kind of fun, even if their owners will never take them there.
I think the only owners who are going to put it on the track is the actual
people like us.
Plaids.
Me and Marcus. I mean, it's a beautiful car. You got a range of options, including one that goes over 500 miles. Purcell really likes it. All right, so that was track testing. Now let's look at safety.
You never know. You may see me. We racing one.
Exactly.
Wait a minute, you racing a Lucas? A Lucid?
Lucid, maybe.
Oh, never say never.
That's right.
Hey, I have a whole garage full of electric, smoking them out here.
So we've seen a bunch of crash tests. They did 100 crash tests on this particular vehicle. We've seen a bunch of them on this channel, and so I just figured I'd continue the tradition. Interesting, they did the seat test with the whole chassis. Most companies just do the seat.
I love that it stopped at the axle. Yeah. Most time I see it crash at the axle. But go ahead.
that was all I had to say about that. Anders was saying, I hope they get the prices down when they cars ship from Giga Berlin. I think they will, and that was most of the point for it. The question then will be if they do it right away or if they take profits to repay that price of that factory right away. They could go either way. And I think what's going to happen is they'll lower the price a little bit to account for shipping, and they'll just hold that profit until they have competitors. And then they'll undercut them because Elon hates being showed up. That's my personal thoughts.
I already know he's working on a bigger range.
Oh yeah, they are, but putting more range in means less batteries to use on the next car. So they're going to keep the range the same, I feel, and just make more batteries.
Oh yeah, when he's not going to remove it from the current, but I'm pretty sure he's already on the next battery technology to push it further. Ooh.
So Genesis GV60 we looked at last week is the triplet in what we thought were the Kia and Hyundai twins for their new midsize SUV, midsize SUV EV, and this is new that we didn't realize. We heard rumors, but it's going to get a factory installed wireless charging option by Witricity. So we saw this on aftermarket from a couple of Teslas, 1 or 2 volts, and a bunch of Nissan Leafs. Where you have this pad in your garage or on your driveway, you pull over it and the car charges. You don't have to get out and unplug it or plug in, plug out. It's only going to be in South Korea at first. They claim that they have lower losses and safety, and I mean, I believe it's safe. I don't know that it's going to be as low loss as they claim. Hey, Omar.
Hey, everybody.
So you had a Nissan Leaf when they were pushing this wireless charging pad. What do you think of it showing up on the new Hyundai Genesis? Or so the new Genesis GV 60.
I mean, I think it's a great, convenient option for people. You know, it's always good to have options. You know, yeah. I don't think it's going to be as efficient or as fast or anything as wired. But if you have it in your garage or something, you're parking it overnight, it's perfectly fine.
Yep. So if you're the kind of person who's always forgetting to plug in your laptop and your cell phone, but you want to get an EV, as long as you can remember to park it in the same place every day, they got you covered.
I think this would be a neat idea for you can basically install it faster. Just throw the little plate out and then wire it as necessary with the little. You can use one of those little curves that they add to the parking spot so it doesn't go over. You can put one of those in, wire it, and then shoot it out from there. This is going to be. That's
a good question. Does it have an integrated bollard, or do you have to install protection for this device because it's high voltage electrical in the house or office?
And see, if this was in like a parking garage or a parking complex, you can easily make it to those artificial curbs. So when they
the little parking stops, the bumps at the bottom, or the bollards with the poles. I'm curious though if it's got integrated bollards because I don't see anything here, and I imagine that everybody's electrical code is similar enough that they might require some protection on the high voltage side.
Hey,
so is this just for demonstration?
Was it a company years ago, like on the Model S, that did this before? I think I remember seeing this before back in the day.
Witricity. They changed their name from whatever they used to be called.
Okay. So they never did it go anywhere? I take it for the Model S.
Apparently, Korea. For the Model S, it didn't get very many installs. I saw a couple Volts, a couple Model S's, and like 20 Leafs, and then they just disappeared. But it looks like they didn't go out of business. They just went to Korea.
Well, like Omar said, options is good because part of me saying no, but then again, I'm saying, that would be kind of nice. I just put it in the garage and just go,
Yeah.
But I only forgot to charge
2 seconds.
One time, I would say. Yeah. I only forgot one time, though. It's just like a habit. Like when you do it, like I pull in my garage, if I'm backing in, I just know when I walk past it and put my bag down or something. Like I'm just getting off work, I put my bag down, just grab it, and I got it on schedule, so I just plug it in just in case. If I leave, I just unplug it.
Right.
I made it.
It's
only happens one time.
Exactly, like you said, it's a habit, right? So as soon as I pull in my garage, it's a habit. I always plug in, right?
Yep.
And with my personally, with my commute, even if I forgot to plug it in one day, I'm still good
the next day
and plug it in the next day. You know, it's no big deal.
Yeah. So what I found is each time I forgot to plug in the S twice and all the volts probably twice each, and the X once. It's always something stupid. Like I say, oh, I'll just be in for a minute, and then you go in and you don't ever come back out.
Yeah. Yes. That's that time I forgot. Yeah.
I don't need to charge. I'm going to the grocery store. I'll charge afterwards. And then,
but to Dan's point earlier, though, like in public parking garages, though, like this could be useful.
Exactly.
You know, I just came back from a road trip. We drove coast to coast, all over the United States, and after 2 weeks of being on the road, actually 2.5 weeks, we ran into a lot of different charging situations. You know, we stayed at different hotels that had charging in most of the places that we were at, and like having the ability to have like the EV parking spaces, the designated EV parking spaces where people could just pull up and just park there, and then they don't even have to plug in, don't have to fiddle with nothing, do nothing.
Yeah,
that would be a great option.
I think that would be cool.
But you still run into the problem of people
losses.
like me with my car that now need to be retrofitted because it wasn't built for that. So now what about all the vehicles that are already out there that aren't made for that?
Exactly. I think that was part of what did them in on the first go round was exactly when Tesla started showing off the battery swap. And if you try to swap the battery through that, you yank it out and destroy the car. Robert Williams has a great point. The robot charger is probably the best way to do this. We'll see what comes of it.
I like the idea of the robot charger. I personally think that's where Tesla's going with those AI robots.
Exactly.
Those Tesla robots are going to be, I think, deployed at superchargers, just trying to keep things flowing, going, automatically plugging in. Especially if they get that autonomous fleet going with the auto taxis, they're going to need a way to charge. So putting them at the superchargers would be perfect.
You don't want to pay an attendant,
right? So instead of paying an attendant to do that, look, robots don't need to take breaks.
That's right. That's right. And there's something else we can tax because Bill Gates said tax the people who own the robot.
Yeah, tax that. Yeah, absolutely. And then of course, you got to send all the robots to Mars because they have to be able to build the base stations. Exactly. So that way, when the humans get there, we have something to work with, and the stations be already built out. All the really dangerous parts, like Elon stressed, use the robots for dangerous things that you wouldn't want humans doing. Boom, send them to Mars.
Moving to Mars.
Makes sense.
Speaking of electric cars, okay, I know that's a really weak on a show about electric cars. A really weak transition. The Model Y Performance is nearly sold out for 2021. So let's see. When Joey Klender checked, he tried to get a Model Y Performance, and it said to him, see, they changed where it is on web and mobile, which is annoying. One is on the bottom and one's on the top. There it is. Estimated delivery December. End of quarter, baby. End of quarter.
Wow. I mean, realistically, they were already sold out. Basically, all they're doing with the Performance is just jumping people in line that are already waiting for the long range. You know, they're just prioritizing the Performance ones because that's, people are paying more for that. So I'm not surprised to see that even now, even jumping the line, you can't get in before December. I'm not surprised.
That part.
I'm actually surprised that this didn't happen earlier.
Yes. All right, so this one was called Tesla Pays Its Debts. So it looks like Tesla has paid off the $1.4 billion China loan agreement for Giga Shanghai early. And this is something that they do regularly. They paid off their FMVS, I believe it was, loan that they, Nissan, and Ford got. Ford paid theirs off, or not, Nissan paid theirs off on time, and Ford defaulted. So we...
And Tesla paid theirs off early. Yeah, right. I remember that. I remember that being kind of a big deal. That like Elon's try to stress that, hey, we pay our bills. You know, they pay their loans off early. So everybody's saying, oh, well, Tesla gets this government bailout, and that they need the government to help them. Like, wait a minute, time out, pause, time out. That was a loan, just like the other automakers that got the big loans, and they paid theirs back early. Unlike Ford, like you said, who defaulted.
Mm-hmm. Or the others that went literally bankrupt. Ford was close to bankrupt, but they did not go bankrupt. Yeah. So this is coming from Tesla of New York, which is interesting because it's about California. In Oxnard, California, a proposed fossil fuel plant, peaker plant, was to be built next to one of the city's picturesque beaches. Residents and community leaders lobbied against the proposition, resulting in the installation of a 400 megawatt-hour Tesla Megapack. And then Tesla provided us with this video. Also has music in it, so muted.
I mean, that's a win right there. That's a huge win.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like, not only is it not only is it better for, you know, that localized region right there where the people didn't want it, you know, they were like, NIMBY, not in my backyard, right?
Right.
But not only is it better for that localized region, it's just better all around for the environment, period.
Yeah. And it's from a local company to them.
Exactly.
Not just an American company, it's local.
Exactly. Can't get more local than that for them.
And so now that this is there, I mean, it's going to stabilize the grid. You can put power in and out of it. They put a solar plant right next to it, so you can have your solar in the middle of the night. And then now that you're not having to worry about a peaker plant going up and down with natural gas or whatever, methane, we also don't have to worry about expanding it. And you know, because now you can just drop in more modules and make sure the cabling is correct, fuses, etc. And then you've got the situation where the base load can now be better predicted because you can put in a smaller or more steady base load because you know the batteries can absorb it if you happen to have a dip in demand.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool stuff.
I love it. And I mean, wasn't the first one of the first test cases in Australia that they did?
Yeah.
And I mean, with that proof of concept there, like, not only was it more efficient, but they were making money. Like, it was a moneymaker, a big time moneymaker.
Yeah.
And I forgot all the exact ins and outs of how they did it, but because of with the peak loads and when they needed to sell the power to the grid for the peak times, it was selling at the peak rates, electricity rates, and then when the batteries were refilling, when the grid was overproducing, it was at the lower rates or whatever it was, it balanced out, and it was a moneymaker. Exactly.
Also, American Samoa, they were able to go from diesel powered to diesel backup because they went solar and power pack. They didn't even go mega pack; they went power pack when that thing existed, and it's nice. You know, it's quiet, it's clean. They're not poisoning. They're young and they're old.
Nice.
Yes, they're water because you know they're an island.
Water is going to be a real problem. Water is, I mean, yeah, potable water is definitely going to be a problem.
There can be water wars in the future. So Tesla wasn't the only one to have a shareholder meeting this week. GM also did. This is also from Drive Tesla Canada. They noted that GM has announced that they would convert more of their assembly plants to EVs by the end of the decade. And let's see, GM will continue to deliver combustion cars. They're relying on software and a brand new EV lineup to deliver their lofty revenue goal. I wonder if they're going to rent you seat heaters like BMW is. In addition, the company wants to launch 30 new EVs by mid-decade. However, the revenue possibilities don't stop with new EV and software. They want to use the Cruise automotive launch. They want it to be launched in 6 years. Cruise is a robotic taxi service like Waymo that recently received approval in San Francisco to operate without a driver behind the wheel. And so Drive Tesla Canada is pessimistic on whether GM will meet those goals. The company experienced a 10.8% decrease in revenue in 2020 year over year, and struggles to move vehicles on their production line after the pandemic and chip shortage. Fred took another more positive response to the same meeting. GM wants to overtake Tesla as EV leader in the U.S. with $30,000 electric crossover and more.
That's cute.
Same meeting, yeah. GM is currently second only to Tesla in the U.S. Yes, this is true, but it's not a close second.
That part.
Tesla has not just passed GM in EV sales, but they've already a few laps ahead. Let's see. GM is counting on Ultium and a Chevrolet crossover priced at $30,000. Buick crossovers.
Didn't we just say 2 stories ago they can't make enough Model Ys?
Right. at the increased price.
They literally can't make them fast enough as they've been increasing the price.
Right.
But
good luck,
go GM.
Yeah,
go GM. Good. It's good to have goals. Good to have goals.
Goals, yes. But like we also said with the Volkswagen story, the Volkswagen is aiming to be where Tesla is today. They want that 10-hour cycle time per car. But Tesla's not going to stick at a 10-hour cycle time. Currently, only the rear of the Model Y is MegaCast. They're about to MegaCast the front of the Model Y. And they're about to come out with the structural battery pack. So you're skating to where the puck is, not to where the puck is going to be.
So we just got the GM, right?
Where that was Volkswagen.
So where Tesla is at right now
is ridiculous.
Yeah, is
that they've actually I've heard story. I just saw a story on Twitter. They just with the Gigafactory in Texas,
mm-hmm.
they're able to spit out Model Y, the complete body of the Model Ys, 45 minutes.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot faster than 10 hours.
So they're going to be spitting them things out like monsters, like crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's within a week of getting your car. Like,
so
I want a fresh car 1 week later.
I mean, that's how fast they're looking to. Now, mind you, that's just the body. You know, it still has to. There's other things has to be done. You know, making it with the car. You know, the pack and everything else, motors, everything has to be assembled, put together. You know, all put in place, and then the paint shop, everything else. Everything has to be done. But being able to make the whole body of it in 45 minutes,
right? But with the structural pack, the seats and the interior are actually bolted to the battery, and the interior comes up under the car, under the body that you put on top. So
right, instead of robots going in through the doors, arms and stuff going in, boom, it's just gonna, or boom, just put it on top.
Yeah, this is incredible. So let's get a little close to home. Maryland has their Skipjack Wind 1 offshore wind farm leaps forward with a $20 million facility.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So Skipjack Wind 1 is going to be a 120 megawatt offshore wind farm in Maryland that will power 40,000 homes once it goes live in the second half of 2026. It will generate $225 million in economic investment and create nearly 1,400 jobs in the state. Not bad.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what we said. Let's try all the things of green energy.
Green energy brings jobs. It brings green. It puts green in your pocket. It saves green. I really don't get the even if you're getting a little bit of back kick on oil, I don't see the benefits of like sideways pushing us in. Like, more money to spend means more money to put in the economy, which means more money to buy another vehicle, which means more money to put your kids to another university, which
basically
means more
everybody
money
wins.
to buy a house.
Everybody wins, and it's local. It's not sending money overseas to go fight people that don't want us there to get oil that we don't need. So.
It's just everything. Like, again, put some LED lights on that wind farm. You can charge it. It's there. Like, these issues are simple.
Nobody's gonna be out on a boat watching the wind farm, Dan.
You put it on a site. You put it on a shoreline. I'll be there. Or those little, the little big wheels that are in the harbor.
You can put it on the building that all the people work in. You'll be fine.
I tell you what, I drove.
Jay Leno has one on his garage.
I drove cross country and I saw a lot of wind farms, and it's amazing to me, like the amount of the vast amount of land and area that we have in this country that's just unused. It's like vast, like ridiculous amounts of space in land that's just like totally nothing's there. It's just totally unused. And then you look off in the distance, and you see all these humongous wind farms, just hundreds of windmills. Like, as far as you can see, it's just like amazing.
Yeah. When we go up to Massachusetts, we see a bunch of them by my grandmother's bed and breakfast, and one of them is never moving because NIMBY, and I don't know how they got it built with NIMBY, but they can't turn it on. So the biggest one of all, they can't turn it on because somebody's afraid of windmills. And the rest of them, you see them just kind of.
What do they think the windmill's going to do?
Like, that's a real thing.
Besides create electricity, what do they think is going to happen?
make shadows or something? I don't know what. They got approved to build it, so I don't know where. I'm wondering if his politics changed after.
I mean, if it's there and it's sitting there, like
I never known of a windmill.
It's already there.
It's connected. It's ready to go.
Just turn it on and let it spin.
Yeah. You know what? If they have a Texas situation, they'll probably want to turn it on and get some power. Because they did ice-proof theirs. Because it snows in Massachusetts.
I did. Like, imagine having a actual weather phenomenon, like a high windstorm or something, and it just harnesses all of that energy that Mother Nature's
high windstorm. They put the brakes on. You don't want to overrun them.
Okay, not that fast, but you can maximize your input after that.
If they have variable pitches, they can probably handle a little bit of extra, but they can only go so far.
Here's the thing: they get plenty of wind there. It's not like I mean, in the northeast, we get wind.
Or those little circular ones that just spin on itself.
And if you put batteries on it, then you don't have to worry about it overproducing, unless your battery's full.
Right.
And then you put the brakes on.
I've seen ones that are circular, like cylinder, and
I forget what they call them. But one spins on.
They have a lot of those on the. If I see a ton of those in Philly on the in stadium there, the Lincoln Financial Field. The football stadium, NFL football stadium. They have those
going between the buildings.
The windmills that you're talking about, Dan. They have those because they don't take up as much
ground space.
It's larger footprint, you know.
Yeah.
But they have that stadium is pretty green. They have tons of solar all over the entire thing, and then they have the windmills on top all around the whole thing.
I think the reason that those type aren't used as much is they're more expensive and less efficient per size. So our favorite white hat hacker for Teslas, Green the Only, has dug into the Tesla 2021.36 release, and the yoke changes, auto cancel of turn signals on completion of maneuver. How do you think about that there, Marcus? And then auto turn on. Go ahead.
I just used it last night. I love it. I tried it out last night.
Oh, you got the update. All right.
Yes. Yeah, I got it a couple of days ago. It was just in the garage. I had to go somewhere last night. It was just, so I drove it last night and tried it out. I love it. It's real nice.
This one is interesting. I heard a lot of people upset about it. Auto turn on of turn signal if navigation suggested. The car commands you to change lanes. How is that?
Wait, how does it work for you to change lanes?
I'm wondering
Are you physically just turning it, or like?
But yeah,
because you don't have a stalk. It's not like you can confirm the change. Like, go ahead and do it.
I'm wondering if it's like the right now when you're on navigate on autopilot, but if you're in manual drive, it would just turn the blinker on, like, hey, you need to be in the next lane, Bo. Or if you are somebody who changes lanes like a BMW with no turn signals, if it'll just automatically signal that you're coming over. That would be really cool. Have you tried that particular feature, Marcus?
Not that one. I haven't did that one.
All right. I'm curious.
Yeah, I didn't do the auto turn on, but
press and hold the high beams button to activate the washers. Some folks in the thread suggested that Tesla put the wrong part on the wrong one here, like that you press and hold to keep the high beams on, and you press and hold the washers to get the washers to wash. but in the text they wrote that you use the high beams to wash. So yeah, if it were that, then yeah, that is confusing. But yeah.
Hey, Kate, right quick on the update. Like I said, what I learned, like if I'm gonna make a left turn, I hit it. As soon as I make the left turn, it automatically go off like a traditional.
Just like a regular one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty dope. It wasn't like it at first. You have to turn it off. Yeah.
Like a motorcycle.
But now when you turn it, it automatically goes off now.
Software defined cars.
That would be from a software update.
But again, that's the improvements that you get with a car that can be improved via software, via over-the-air updates that just constantly improves as time goes on.
Right.
Yeah, but it would make more sense to hold down, like you said, the windshield wiper thing for the washer.
Yeah. So the way I'm hearing it from the people further down the thread is if you push and hold the washers, it'll latch. They call it latch, and then it'll do a wash cycle, and then it'll turn itself off.
Okay.
And then
I'm gonna try that one. I haven't did that one.
Yeah.
I know what it did. I haven't tried it though, but I know because at first when you press it, it gives you the screen on the left side to say auto or turn your windshield wipers on, etc. But now I'm thinking it's just like the traditional thing. You can just hold it like a card that you press and hold. It's going to automatically do it. I'm gonna find out when I get off here. But I bet you that's what it is. I ain't do that. I haven't tried that one though. But the turn signal though. But like I said, like it's just from a software update. Cars are sitting in the garage and it's just like a whole new car. I'm like, it's amazing. It's amazing.
So speaking of washing the windshield on the Plaid, does it have the jets at the back of the hood like your 2012, 13, or does it have on the end of the blades like the X and the 3 and the Y?
I haven't used it yet, to be honest with you.
All right.
But yeah, I know it's
Marcus and I just washed this car. I'm not going to squirt juice on it. Exotic Geeks asks, can they put an advertisement on the back of Solar if it's on the stadium? Yeah, why not? That would be smart.
They can.
That'd be super smart, yeah. All right, so then...
It makes it easier to not be an eyesore.
Right. And then this picture is also from the updates. The auto park on the new Model S and Model X is camera-based, and apparently there's some improvements to how it functions. Let's see if he says that in the next thread. Yep, there we go. Korea gets Spotify support in arcade games. Cat Quest, Solitaire, and Polytopia. I think Korea is the one that had them removed. Korea or Singapore? Because the politicians
doesn't make any sense because it only works when the car's on park.
Right. You can't tell some old people, man. They're set in their ways. All right, so China gets QQ Music. That's cool. VIP and high-quality track support. So that's... He thinks it came in with 2021.32. But I like that. If you're paying extra, then I like it when the car actually lets you use it. Interesting.
Wait, can we go back for 1 second?
Yeah.
We totally skipped over this. The Model Y gets airbag improvements from a software update.
Yes.
Let's just let that sink in for a second. This is how, focused on safety that this company is. Like they're upgrading and updating safety features such as the airbag system and how it responds and works through over-the-air updates.
Good. Right.
In real time.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hold you up.
No,
that
cool.
just
cool.
that I mean
right.
that's important to me. Safety is important.
Yeah. I mean, they start with safety, then they go on to electric, and then they go on to fun. That actually isn't meant to be a fun car first. All right, Model 3 gets some more cold weather improvements. The windshield wiper wash sequence automatically adjusts to your vehicle speed to better clear salt and grime. Model S gets better battery preconditioning. Model X and Model Y get all of the above, probably because they have those big old windshields. Some get improved temperature consistency. I hope that's mine, because mine is all over the place in summer and winter sometimes. Like I guess when it's clearing the coils or whatever. Go ahead, Dan. What were you saying?
Oh,
Go ahead. I'll remember in a second.
Okay.
So, Kacey, with your Model X, when you let's say it's wintertime, you're running your heat, you got the cabin on nice and cozy and warm, and you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
As soon as you open that back door to get something out or do whatever, or let somebody in or out, doesn't all that just go flying right out the door?
A lot of
that's a humongous space. That's a humongous opening right there.
It's like a car. It's like a car with 3 trunks. Literally the same as when on your Model S when you open the rear. I get that, but times 2 and closer to me.
Right.
Biohazard improvements for cars with the HEPA filter. You can now purge the vehicle of unhealthy particulates before entering your vehicle by turning on bioweapon defense mode from your mobile device. But this requires app version 4.1.0. So if you
Wait a
see
minute,
the
I could
safety
do that
scores,
from the. I didn't see that.
if you got 36 update.
I'm looking now. Let me see.
Okay. 36 update and the new phone update, the one that's got the safety scores. It also removes...
I got my score. I got my scores.
There you go. It also removes the FSD beta button. So I guess they're done. If you weren't already in, you're not in if you get this update. So if you get this, hit the button and wait 7 days and then turn it on, just in case. That'd be my response there. All right, so this has been my biggest issue with the yoke. It's never the same pressure you need to apply for the turn signals. So doing it for you is a solution. It was hinted for a while that Tesla had a patent to predictively turn on the turn signal on the whole car will force you to turn on chains by activating turn signal, and you obey not to be embarrassed otherwise. I turn them. My car is signaling all the time when it wants to change lanes. I'm like, nope, turn it off, because it wants to merge behind slow people, and I'm like, I ain't got time for that. And so I'll turn off the turn signal. I don't care.
I found it. At least it's confirmed.
Oh, so you have the button?
The bio defense mode button in the app. Found it. Yes.
You got it? Confirmed. Oh man, I'm waiting on my car to update, so hopefully I'll have it tomorrow. The auto lane change on FSD kind of sucks. I'm always telling it to wait more. Yes. Yeah, it either wants to change lanes too soon or never. Most of my lane change problems are navigating the follow route, which it used to be so much better, and then it got worse.
Mine likes to change lanes all the time for no reason sometimes. Like, it's just like, oh, move over.
Right. Why? So Brandon got himself a new refresh, I think long range, and so he was talking about the latch verbiage that Tesla was using. You can push and hold high beam button to latch the high beams instead of the current finicky hard press. That was something that a lot of people were having trouble with, the different levels of pressure on the wheel. And if you just push and hold, we're so much more accustomed to that these days than force touching. And somebody else talked about it. Hopefully it's still in the thread. The update includes the other behavior changes to the force touch buttons on the steering wheel. You can now push and hold to latch the beams, blah, blah. So repeat himself. Turn signals always latch when pressed. Additionally, you can now press and hold to latch the high beam and activate the windshield washer, the exact release notes wording. And he says, they're dedicated buttons for high beams and wipers. It would make sense for the high beams to activate the wipers. Yeah, so I think hopefully Marcus can tell us that when they described it, they just reversed what they meant. Like, because if you copy and paste, sometimes I do that. You copy and paste a block and you forget to change one. That's what it sounds like. Otherwise, yes, I agree. Facepalm, the high beams are controlling the washers.
Real quick, back to Plaid. I figured what I was trying to say. It was funny. I was on a thread. I forgot where I was, and somebody, I would say younger than the current generation, did not know why the Plaid was named Plaid.
There's a lot of people.
It was very creative to see somebody of the Gen X or the elder millennial be like, yeah, go back and watch this movie. This is why it's named Plaid and the sign and everything. It was really interesting to be like, we don't know why it's named Plaid. I'm like, are you serious? Do you even know Tesla or Elon? It's really weird to say that.
Yeah, he really loves those Mel Brooks videos. So this guy's asking about the Vision Auto Park because it's in the release notes, but Green gets the release notes for all the cars, not just his car. So that's referring to the new S and X. And it's unclear if Tesla will activate the feature flag for people outside of the not the enhanced autopilot, the early access program now. And he says now, but Green is saying it already does because Green already showed us on his car. He told his car that it was a Plaid, and it let him auto park via the cameras. Wait,
it auto parks in an empty parking lot now? Because it used to need a car on each side. In order
still does, but Marcus's new car will auto park just based on the lane lines.
Oh, just the Plaid does that now.
Yeah, the Plaid and the long range, the new long range.
Oh, just the new S's.
Yeah, new S's and X's.
Gotcha.
So, see, Exotic Geeks is asking, can that large roof hold a solar roof of some sort? It can, but Elon isn't interested in it because for the cost and weight penalty, it doesn't produce enough power to pay itself off. But I've got something on that later in the show. I got something for you there. There was something else here, and I'm not. Other than the cabin IR cameras, you see any difference other than the cameras, radars, and the refresh test? I think that cabin IR camera is so they can see your eyes. Because if they can make their own light, then they don't got to worry about it. So let's finish with this one and move on to the next thing. So Dan's favorite battery maker, SK Innovation, has spun off SK, and it's now a wholly owned subsidiary with an ambition to become the world's biggest EV battery supplier. Good luck. This also is interesting in that this was Ford's solution to building their own battery factory, was to just buy a large enough chunk of this company that they don't have to worry about getting their battery supply. Whereas GM, Volkswagen, Tesla have all started their own battery factories, in addition to buying massive batteries from everyone else. So
I'm still blown.
Yeah, so by 2030 they want to produce over 500 gigawatt hours of cells. And that's not counting the Ford joint venture. Wow. So that's really 275. Well, 280.
Everybody putting their chips on the table.
Hey, money on the board makes the game go good.
I'm honestly, with all this, I'm impressed. Go see it, Eddie. That's your homework. Movie Kacey.
Eddie, just do your homework. Just watch it.
Yeah, it's only an hour and a half. You'll be fine. You might like bits of it.
I still laugh at it.
Hey, Phase Rug. Next. This one was more of the sales for the best-selling Teslas. Tesla Model 3 snags the best-selling car in... I think we already discussed this one. Best-selling car in the UK for September. I think we did. Yeah, we did. It's just from a different source. All right, so this one was interesting for me. Rivian's has a what they call a gear guard feature, which is equivalent to Tesla's Sentry Mode. And folks are creating controversy over their avatar. It's this thing. Whereas...
It's Chewbacca.
No.
Or Sasquatch.
No.
At least that's what I see.
It could be a Sasquatch.
It could be a Sasquatch. It's not Chewy, though.
No, it's not Chewy. So Tesla initially used the HAL 9000 I, and that got them in trouble. So then they switched to GLaDOS from Portal. And so Rivian has chosen to use that creature there. And some people don't like it. Some people think it's cute.
What is there not?
I mean, it's got an old school camcorder.
Right.
Or should I have not asked that question?
and it looks at
Yes.
you. Like, so if you come up to the left side, it looks at the left side of the car. If you go to the right side, it looks at the right side of the car. So it's...
I mean, that's actually kind of cool.
I think just the fact that it's called a gear guard is funny.
It's guarding your gear while you're out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's better. It's like, it's unique to say it's not a Sentry Mode. It's just, hey, it's your gear guard. If somebody, because if you've been out in the wilderness, you have to worry about your gear being snatched. Mm-hmm. Prior military, you always have to secure something, or you leave somebody behind to watch it. And it's like, this is awesome. You could just be like, oh, that's funny.
I actually like that.
It peeps up.
Hey, what you doing over there? I'm watching this gear.
Right.
That's actually really funny.
It is.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
See, a lot of people like it. I think it's cool. I don't understand why people are mad at it. Yeah.
Kids would touch the
I
car on
like
purpose.
it.
I can see that.
I mean, honestly,
It's different.
I'd like to see
But if they can
more
color on
vehicle
the car, then,
manufacturers do
hey.
the same thing, because
Yeah.
pretty much all vehicles now have cameras on them.
Yeah.
Right. So whether it's just
Really?
the rear facing camera
Netflix
and a front facing camera for some, driver assistance stuff, or whether they're trying to do full blown autonomous driving, whatever they're trying to do, they're putting cameras on all these vehicles.
Yeah.
So I would love to see all manufacturers do that, so that all these car break-ins can just be become a thing of the past. Like, all right, people just know, don't bother on any of the newer vehicles.
Yeah. Like,
I'd love to see that, just like make that type of crime just pretty much go away.
Yeah. In one of our friends groups this morning, we saw somebody decided he was going to open the door hard into a Tesla. And then while he had the door there, he decided he was going to key the Tesla. And they saw his face without the mask on, because he took the mask off to get in his car. They had his license plate. They had his car model, where he parked. If people learn not to mess with the new cars, that's the way to go.
Wait till we get to the day where people are doing flash mobs and they know the cars have camera.
We saw. I don't know if I had started my show by then. We saw a music video performed on the Sentry Mode cameras. It took them 6 months, because what they did was they did the performance, but they didn't own half of the car, so they had to do the performance, and then they had to hold up a sign saying, "Hey, can you email the Sentry footage to us here?"
To be able to do a flash mob and everybody kind of sort of owns the car, or you're there to give them to them right away, that'd be funny to see. It'd really be fun to see.
And so Robert was talking about the Rivian vans. So as I said, Amazon has actually got 2 vans that they're going for. They're using the electric Fords, and then they're using Rivian. Rivian is doing the smart thing here, and they're prioritizing their Amazon vans over the R1T production. Not just because their benefactor asked them where my van's at, but also
where my van's at, Brian.
Right, exactly. So you got all these vans. They've got 3 different models, but right now they're only building one. It comes in one color, one spec. So and you've got a customer that has no desire to go air your dirty laundry in public to social media or the news. So you can shake down your factory. You can get your team as one cohesive unit. You know how much money you're going to make from them, and you can just prioritize this rather than you've got 8 different color trucks with 9 different trims or whatever the case might be, and then if you mess up the truck and you don't fix it the way the person wants, and you don't talk to them as nicely as they expect you to talk to them, now you're getting blasted on social media, the local news, everything.
And just as importantly, and just as important as all of that, Amazon fronted them a bunch of money up front and basically bankrolled their whole entire company as far as them getting started up. So for them to even have a factory, to be even able to put out a product at all, is only because of Amazon. So it only makes sense for them to prioritize Amazon as their number one investor and number one customer, and take care of them, keep them happy. It makes sense.
Yeah, and it's a guaranteed order. They have to do, 10,000 or 100,000 vans in the next 5 years? And so that's a guaranteed order. They got money to pay for it. They're asking you where they are. It just goes on and on. This is the perfect decision for them. Bloomberg noted that RJ has decided to focus on Amazon. They're going to build about 300 EVs by the end of the year, 10,000 due by the end of 2022. The entire 100,000 is due by the end of the decade. And then Amazon has a 4-year exclusivity on this design, with a 2-year option for more exclusivity, or first right to refusal anyway. So that also means that that once Amazon gets the next year model, or they can use this to develop the next one, that's when you'll start to see your local delivery service, your local house hacker or plumber or whatever in these vans. This is going to be awesome. So it's smart of them to
makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then they've also got some money from Ford, but Ford isn't as the Ford deal wasn't as important to them as this deal was, because this could sink the company if they don't handle it correctly. All right, so Drive Tesla Canada is reporting that GM is coming up with a solution to FSD. They said this before with their Super Cruise, and then it only works on pre-mapped roads, and you have to keep your eyes on the road, but they say that you don't have to touch the wheel. And unlike Ford, when they come across a curve on that mapped road, it keeps steering, and if for some reason it doesn't steer, it lets you know. It doesn't just put up a small text message on the screen, because that's not good if your hands aren't on the wheel and it lets go and doesn't tell you. So, GM has announced Ultra Cruise. Ultra Cruise is a hands-free driver assistance system designed to work on all public paved roads in Canada and the US. So they're not going out and mapping all the roads. This sounds exactly like FSD. They're going to use cameras and AI to figure out what to do. They call it Ultra Cruise, and it will enable door-to-door hands-free driving in 95% of driving scenarios.
So not mapping out. They're actually just...
Right.
Interesting.
It will not replace Super Cruise, so you can actually use both. And it'll be reserved for premium vehicles like Cadillac. Super Cruise is going to move
people who won't damage their vehicles.
So Super Cruise is going to be moving down market on what they call their mainstream vehicles. So like hopefully all the Bolts will have it now, not just the Bolt EUV.
It's nice to say that. Our mainstream vehicles.
Right.
Take the scraps.
Right. So the combination of Ultra Cruise for premium offerings and Super Cruise for low-cost products will enable us to offer driver assist technology across price points and segments, according to Doug Parks, GM's Vice President of Global Product Development, Purchasing, and Supply Chain. So it's going to work on more than 2 million miles of roads in both Canada and the US using a combination of cameras and LiDAR. So this LiDAR is coming off the car, not on some mapping car. The system will be able to develop accurate 360-degree representation of the surrounding environment. So I wonder then if it's going to require your neighbor to drive down the...
Radar and LiDAR?
Yeah. Sensor fusion. Yeah. So I'm wondering then if your neighbor has to drive down your street before it can drive down your street. Or if the second time you come through, it'll work. But not the first time. Interesting.
I'm trying to figure out how they do this.
I hope they're not ugly, because, I mean, hiding a LiDAR, camera, radar, all of that in 360s has produced some pretty ugly cars in the past.
Are they using Google Maps to do this?
No, they're doing it themselves.
Oh, the last company I tried to do this themselves. Fire.
It's responding to the world around it in environment in real time. It's not actually, they're not mapping out anything. It's just responding to what it sees.
Right, and this isn't exactly new to them, Dan, either. Remember, they have the Cruise Automotive, which runs without a driver at all. So
I get it. I'm just saying this is not like the other companies. There's other companies that say let's real-world test this and get the data back from our drivers, and they're under fire all the time.
Yeah, but they're not paying the people who attack them, whereas GM has definitely made sure that they don't get attacked.
Right.
And they probably won't put a beta label on it. It's just money.
Irony.
It's money, not irony. Money. So GM says they'll build a Super Cruise by adding these features. They're going to provide information-based experience with the system through an all-new dynamic display, which sounds like the mind of car on FSD. They're going to react to permanent traffic control devices. So it sounds like you won't be able to use this in a construction zone at all. Permanent traffic control devices.
Right. Well, I tell you what, Tesla's autopilot still has big problems with construction zones, so...
It does okay, like better than you'd expect, but it's not meant to be used in construction zone, the current one. I'll let you know tomorrow how FSD does in construction zone, because I have a construction zone on my daily route, and we'll see what it does.
Oh, are you getting the beta?
I got 100.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know how that beta... Let me know how that beta does, because mine doesn't do that good.
Right. Elon says it's coming tonight, so as long as they don't bar me from talking about it, I'll be all over it. It'll follow internal navigation routes. Again, sounds like navigating autopilot FSD. It'll maintain headway and follow the speed limits. That sounds like just regular autopilot to me. It'll support automatic and on-demand lane change. About time. Because currently, I think some versions of Super Cruise, like on the Cadillac and the more expensive ones, you can turn the blinker and it will do the lane change for you. Others are very much more like the Ford, where you turn the blinker and you manually change it. It automatically picks back up into lane keep. It'll support left and right hand turns. Sound familiar?
Well, is it going to be? It's going to be able to support itself. I mean, turn itself.
Yeah.
Left and right hand turns, just 90-degree turns.
Sounds like
itself?
they're saying from stop signs to stoplights.
Okay.
It implies it. It'll support close object avoidance. I'm surprised that that's just happening now. That should have already been there.
I mean, isn't that already a thing?
So last week we talked about how everybody has problems with radar and emergency vehicles on the side of the road. GM is admitting it right here.
Right.
It'll support parking in residential driveways. That sounds like Smart Summon to me.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Any feature by any other name?
I wonder if they're the first people to license FSD, and they're just calling it Super Ultra Cruise.
Probably. You know they poach people.
No. I'm saying like if they because
I mean, it sounds like FSD. It does, but
right. Elon said
the thing that makes me feel like they're not licensing it from Tesla and it's not FSD.
Yeah,
is the fact that they said that they're going to be using radar and lidar.
Oh, good point. Yeah. So this is probably more from their Cruise Automotive then, but that would be cool if they were the first ones to license FSD from Tesla.
It would be a smart move if they did that, but
most
cheaper too.
Stuff is to open.
Everybody wants to reinvent the wheel themselves, so go for it.
It wasn't invented here. It's not good enough. The system will not be available anytime soon, with plans to release it in 2023 on select Cadillac models. While vehicles won't be able to download Ultra Cruise, the system will be able to be improved over the air software updates. So you got to buy it ahead of time if you want this.
Sounds like another.
And that's not until at least 2023.
From another automobile company.
No, it doesn't. Because on the other ones, you can download it, Dan.
No, I'm saying they buying it before it's available.
Oh, that part. I think it'll be active when you buy it on the Cadillac because their customers don't do pre-purchase.
Yeah,
other than to be first in line on the whole car. All right, so no comments on
battery.
Huh?
Oh, I saw the clip about the 1,000,000-mile battery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll go scroll through.
Speaking of emulating Tesla, by 2025, GM plans to have renewable energy-powered U.S. sites by 2025, ahead of schedule. They were originally targeting 2030.
I think they should be able to pull it off, and they should be more aggressive.
Wait a minute. So there's going to have renewable energy-powered sites. So that means GM's
factories,
sites, factories, basically offices and stuff, will be powered by renewable energy, which really means they're going to be just buying their energy from renewable sources, which really means they're looking forward to the grid getting cleaner. And as the grid gets cleaner, now they're going to be buying their energy from cleaner sources.
So what I'm hearing is they got a bulk discount from PJM Interconnection and Timber Rock.
Okay.
Hey, you wanna step this up? We'll give you a little extra off your electricity. I mean, it's a good thing. That's what we say, electrify all the things. Yeah.
If they hold their own battery packs, won't they be able to send power back to the grid if they have extra?
I mean, they've been making battery packs since the Volt and saying they were good for grid usage, and then you only saw 3 boxes of them.
I think it's actually for Subaru. If I remember, correct me if I'm wrong. Subaru was the most environmentally efficient plant office.
They were the most greenwashed.
The green, yes, there.
Because what they did was they raised all their vehicles up so they were all trucks, so they didn't have to qualify for the car emissions.
No, I'm talking about
that's why they were all-wheel drive
within the plant that was created.
All-wheel drive and so many inches off the ground.
Yeah,
like you saw one year where the Subarus got taller. All of them just got taller overnight.
Yeah, and then it's like we reuse almost everything in the plant or recycle it to the food waste, the trash, and everything. I'm like, well, they're a little bit ahead of cycle than everybody.
They were just trying to sell cars. It was greenwashing. So Elon is tweeting that FSD Beta 10.2 rolls out Friday midnight to about 1,000 owners per score of 100 safety scores. The rollouts will hold for several days after that to see how it goes. If that looks good, beta will gradually roll out to 99 and below. And then, as we saw last night, that didn't happen on time. And then, as we saw this morning, it is going to happen tonight, allegedly. So Elon has had a couple different ways of specifying this. And as I said earlier in the show, some of the people were being pedantic. But if you're looking for true perfection, then the numbers should go down, whereas Elon suggested that they will go up in a later tweet. Unless he was waiting on people who came in later, there's no way for the number to go up if it's not a literal perfect 100. So what I think is if it says 100 in your app, you're good. All right, so then
that means everybody's going to get to 100 and stay still.
Right, so he updated it last night. A few last-minute concerns about this build, released likely on Sunday or Monday. And see, I was asking about safety score, and Elon says it's going to get better. Let's just go to the Elon tweet and see what he's up to, because this will be faster than finding them. The team is working hard. In fact, working hard. They confirmed 10.2 is good to go tomorrow night. He said that early this morning. That was in response to Sofyan. He was saying, well, some of us are enjoying Saturday night chilling and partying. Tesla AP employees are working hard to get FSD Beta 10.2 out to us by Sunday or Monday. And he said, yes, they are. I'm not quite sure why this was attached. Oh, I see why, because I'm in his feed. Clean Technica says that Tesla is obsessed with safety, and Elon says it's true. These are the S, X, and Y compared to all the other cars on NHTSA raw data. Was there something else from Musk that I wanted to share with you guys? Well, might as well look at this. This is the 4680 pack cut in half. And over there is a 2160 pack also cut in half. So we can see they're no longer modules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Structural battery packs. Here we go.
Yep. And people are arguing over whether these fins are supports. I think they're just cooling, because when you zoom in on them, they look exactly like the cooling fins on the Model Y 2160 pack. Let's see. He says they're going to build some Tesla coils.
They threw a big rave
party. High time we build a really big coil. This 4160S is just effing huge. It's as big as FSD. Will let Tesla make an EV for less than what it costs to make a gas car. What happens when the EV is the cheapest option off the lot before you can even factor in fuel and maintenance and savings? Who would buy a polluting car? Elon says cells and FSD are massive. The rest is just beauty and romance. But life is empty without the last two. And then we talked about the headlights earlier in the show. That's incredible. All right, so more SpaceX stuff. Teslarati is reporting SpaceX will reveals plans to double the fleet of reusable Dragon spacecraft in less than 9 months. And Elon says it's a big deal that the Dragon is reusable with improved refurbishment efficiency with each passing flight. This is not the case for other orbital spacecraft. It means that the spacecraft fleet grows every time a new Dragon is made, which is true. What's the current reuse target on Dragon? 3 missions or more? That's a good question. Oh, wow. They're certified for 5 flights each now. That's incredible.
Wait, what?
The Dragon is certified for 5 flights each now.
The Dragon? Okay.
Yeah. The Crew Dragon, anyway. I'm sure the Cargo Dragon, they're going to keep reusing that bad boy.
Oh, yeah, they'll just keep reusing that over and over.
I mean, there's no risk to life.
Right.
All right, so back on that same article that Teslarati that Elon was responding to. Yeah, that's cool. So comments from NASA and SpaceX ahead of Crew Dragon's 3rd operational launch offered more details ahead of the launch. Where does it say how many they're going to build? Crew 3 will be a new capsule, likely 210, and it will be carried into space atop a previously flown booster number B-1067. 1067 debuted on June 3rd, 2021, sending in the 2nd upgraded Cargo Dragon. That's cool.
Now, what about
I'm listening.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering when all the lunar stuff is going to come into place with the lunar lander and all that other stuff. But
it's currently on pause while they are being sued. Well, not SpaceX. Well, NASA's being sued, but it still benefits from all the improvements from regular Starship. So I feel that once they get past the legal problems, they'll just be able to pick right back up on that.
Wait, who's suing them?
Jeff who?
Jeff who?
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Okay. Yeah, that lawsuit's going nowhere. But okay.
Right. So everybody in the EV news space is reporting on this. Tesla becomes the last EV standing after a car rental company purchased its BEV fleet. So they kept their Teslas and got rid of everything else. Let's see.
Well, from the customer experience standpoint, I mean, the Tesla's going to be to give you the best experience.
Exactly. This company.
You don't have to come from an EV world and know EVs to use a Tesla.
Exactly.
And be able to find a charger or anything else.
Yep. And so the rental company outlined in their recent video on their YouTube channel that it's very sad to see some of the EVs go, especially the Taycan and otherwise stunning electric cars bogged down by charging infrastructure. So after 2.5 years of experience, the Enyaq, Taycan, Kona, Ioniq, they had too many problems with software, charging, and repairs, so they got rid of them. All right.
Oh, I'm actually kind of surprised about the repairs part.
Well, I mean, that's like we keep saying, the bean counters are going to be looking at these things, and if it costs less to repair, costs less to fuel, and keep it on the road longer, they're going to be all over it. And then I guess this is the owner of the company here talking about their situation. I was muted.
Wir werden unseren Taycan verkaufen. Ja, es ist ein wunderschönes Auto und ich habe ihn auch wirklich lieb gewonnen.
He's like he's gonna cry. I gotta get rid of this car. The battery had a runny nose. Jeff suing his way into outer space. Exactly. He's gonna ride it on top of a pile of money.
Yeah, that's not gonna get him to the moon.
He's getting to another moon. So, Tesla was the #1 premium auto brand in the U.S. in Q3, even though it only sold 3 cars: the Model S, the Model Y, and the Model 3. You say, but don't they have a Model X? The answer is no, they don't, because the Model X was not on sale for almost a year now, because they haven't built any. So with just 3 cars, they outsold every premium brand. Here's the one I was looking for. So Tesla 99K, Lexus 81K, BMW 76K, Mercedes 71, Audi 41. But this is the one I was looking for here. Model 3 outsold all BMW passenger cars at 43.6 to 35.6. Model Y outsold all BMW SUVs and light trucks at 46.6 to 40. And the 3 and Y alone outsold BMW's entire lineup at 90.1 to 75.6. The ice age is ending faster than most people think. And that's from Facts Tesla on Twitter. That is incredible. Did I upvote this thing?
Here it comes.
It's coming.
That's that hockey stick. We're on the on the upswing now. That hockey stick.
Exactly.
It's only going to get just taken over.
It's only getting more impressive. Exactly. So this guy said 3 models. What happened to X? It hasn't been manufactured for many months now. Okay, yeah, I did upvote it. Okay, there we go. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, when you think about it, just 4 years ago, they were like one of the smallest automobile makers out there.
So my theory about the Model X is their profit margin just isn't high enough on that vehicle for them to focus on it. So that's why they're focused on everything else, because you have a lot of more complication with that vehicle, with the doors and all that. So but manufacturing-wise...
The new X uses all the same parts. So I think what it is really is that they don't have enough batteries, and they make more profit on the Model S. So, or at least right now.
Oh, battery constraint is the problem. Like, I've been saying that for the longest time. Like, the biggest bottleneck and the biggest piece is going to be the batteries.
Yep.
And like Elon said on the earnings call, he said, they're not They're not trying to eliminate any of their partners that they're getting batteries from. They want to buy all the batteries that they can get their hands on and produce all the batteries that they're able to produce. And they're going to need all of them.
Right. And then they still want more batteries. One of the other things that Elon talked about at one of the events he was at, either the shareholder meeting or the Berlin, was about mining existing batteries for materials. He says it's a lot easier to recycle a battery than it is to get a fresh one. So, and then he said it's going to take about 30 years to cycle the fleet, which is we've already known. But he said at that point, you'll also be able to then just, like we have with lead acid batteries today, like 99.5% recycled. It'll be that way with the traction batteries as well. So here we have some pictures of the VW Aero B sedan EV prototype. It's very little disguise right here. Not bad looking for a VW. Looks like the sedan version of the ID4.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the ID4.
I mean, it's not bad.
Now, on the bottom there, did they put those? Can you go back one picture? Okay, on the bottom there. Did they make those look like eyeballs for on purpose?
I bet you those are just regular ultrasonic sensors or something, and they just happen to be white.
All they need to do is put like a little stripe right there for some reason.
Whoa! Look at the hood.
Like it's laughing.
Panel gaps much?
Right. The good thing is it's a prototype.
It's just a prototype, so
that's noticeable from the side.
They're calibrating the ABS and all that.
Get a pass on the prototype with that.
Yep. You can still see it in this angle too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I mean, it's inoffensive. It's gonna sell well. I like it when you have a full width brake light, like on my Model S head.
Yeah, I like those too.
Ones.
I like those, except for when you have to replace them.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is they can just lose segments for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder why this little what is it, Nissan Renault is following them so closely. Are they benchmarking against that little thing, or is that the support car?
Maybe it's a support car.
Maybe to test their collision system.
I think so. All right, so that's interesting. All right, and let's see. Google is finally stopping accepting money, according to 9 to 5 Google, for my ads on anti-climate change or climate change denial.
About time.
Good.
So they updated their policies, so that's not going to be possible starting next month.
Oh, so
starting next month. Okay.
They will not allow ads or monetization of content. So if people out there are doing shows like this that are pretending that climate change isn't real, well, good luck keeping your money coming in.
They gotta go through those Patreons real quick.
Yeah, they could do that, but then it's just a matter of Patreon and everybody else turning it off as well.
That's good.
Always good to see companies doing the right thing.
It hurts their pockets if they don't.
Google needs to live up to their old model. Don't be evil.
Exactly. All right, so Drive Tesla Canada is reporting that VW ID4s have started to arrive in Canada ahead of deliveries. So now we got the EV Camry of Canada as well.
EV Camry of Canada.
I mean, it's inoffensive, it's slow, it's less expensive.
Yay, Canada. Wait a minute, look. What's up with that hood?
It's open.
Oh, okay.
It's got a wrap on it. It's open.
Okay.
You're just looking for a panel gap.
It stood out to me.
Wait till
it was a huge gap. It was a huge gap. All right, so this one's coming from The Verge. Reduce, reuse, recycle, right? So Microsoft has promised to actively look into right to repair. So if you are repairing stuff, you're not buying new stuff, which means you're not making as much waste. So Microsoft has agreed to have an independent third party study the potential impact of making devices easier to repair and make changes based on those findings by the end of 2022. So they're getting real serious about their negative carbon impact.
But I thought everybody made stuff purposely to not be repairable, so people have to throw it away and buy a new one.
It's a new Microsoft, baby.
I mean, that's what happened with the phones. Remember when phones used to have replaceable batteries?
Yeah. There's still a couple of phone makers that make thin phones with replaceable batteries, but they're like, the Linux phone and
that's rare. Yeah.
Yeah. But it has to be a priority. If it's not like Microsoft's making it a priority now, but if you make it a priority like the Linux phone and the other people, then you can make a thin, pretty phone with a replaceable battery. They just need consumers to tell them that's what they want. And apparently we were telling them we wanted it thinner rather than wanted it to be something we could change our batteries out. Planned obsolescence.
I think it's great for them to want to right to repair and to give more money when you want to trade up, because don't be cheaping me out of my
I think that part won't change. I agree. It's pretty bad.
More than my $200-$300 off. Give me a little bit more and actually.
Yeah, it's pretty bad when you're paying $1,200 for a phone and you go to trade it in and you get like a $300 discount.
Right. At least give me half.
Tesla Model Y long-range rear-wheel drive reservation holder receives account update that indicates deliveries could begin within weeks. I think he should get some free stuff for waiting over 2 years for his car.
A flack load of swag and everything.
Although mine was 3 years and 30 minutes.
Free supercharger song.
Something. Just get a little 1 year free supercharging. Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Just a little thank you.
Man.
A little Model Y diecast. Put it in the
remote control.
Yeah.
The one that rolls out like it does in that Transformers movie, just comes out the side and drives off. Or Bad Boys 2.
What if Elon and Franz sign it personally?
Ooh. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Well, that would be really cool. So speaking of remote control Cybertrucks, this is the Cybertruck with ATV behind me here. Finally arrived.
Lex.
I bought it while the servers were melting. They were.
Have you?
That's my Powerwall I got for extra time. Yeah.
Have you got to play with it yet?
The Powerwall's finally installed and running. Yeah.
Have you got to play with your Cybertruck yet?
No, I need to open it and make a video. I've got other videos I got to finish first, though. So Sawyer has been told that referrals are back for Tesla solar panels. The referral is $300. If you remember back when Tesla pulled the referral program from the automobiles, they also pulled the solar referral credit. So the only thing left on the referral program was a couple $100 for solar roof referrals. Well, now they have referrals back for regular panel installations as well. Which also includes Powerwalls here too, because you can't order any Tesla solar system now without Powerwall. The referral is $300, and then somebody tried to question him on that. And then he came back with receipts.
Can you create a bundle deal? You get a discount, a bundle deal. It's like if you get the solar and the battery pack, you get, the price of like a discount of like, yeah, you can buy them. And it's like, say something's $4.
You get the economies of scale because now they don't have to go into your house. The inverter in the Powerwall is also the inverter for your solar. They would have to charge you more and carry other SKUs and deal with it. So they remove the custom option. They have packages. You buy a package and they drop it in.
Plus, if you're buying both of those at the same time, as opposed to buying one and then buying a different one later, they don't have to come out to install twice.
Twice to do it. It just seemed like to me it was going easier. Like it's like a 2 for $3 sale in there, like $5 separately. It doesn't
work that way. So the CCS1 adapter gets released, gets a release date and price in South Korea. Hints at North American release too. So on your Model 3 or Model Y, you can get this adapter in North Korea, which uses the same plugs as us for Tesla and J1772 and CCS combo. For your Model 3 or Model Y, you can now charge on anything because they have the standard plug adapter. So it's running late, but it's going to be on sale on October 19th. And
October 19th in Korea?
for people with with preferential tickets, and then it goes on regular Tesla sale on October 26th
Worldwide.
in the Tesla shop. It's going to be about $250 US, which was half of what the Chatamo adapter cost. But it only works on Model 3 and Model Y.
Why is it only Model 3 and Y?
Best sellers.
Either they're going to make another adapter for S and X, or they're going to update the software. Because remember, when the Chatamo adapter came out, it didn't work on the Model Y at all, or Model 3 at all. When Model 3 launched, it was like almost 2 years in before the Model 3 could charge on CCS on the Chatamo adapter for the US.
So
basically, when it came out in Japan, basically.
Speaking of which, so I used the Chatamo adapter on my Model Y and it worked.
Yeah.
And I never updated the Chatamo adapter, so I never brought it in.
Right, the updates to accept it were on the car side. The updates to the Chatamo adapter are so you'll work at more stations.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So next time you're in for service, just have that in the trunk and say, hey, update that as well. Of course, by the time that happens, we'll have switched over to CCS.
I'm like, yeah, exactly.
So then they speculate on
I did get to use it, though, which is cool.
That is cool. So they then begin to speculate on when we'll be able to use it in North America, and we'll see.
So if it, well, no, that's electrical voltage change. I thought say once it releases in Korea, they're just like somebody be like, hey, buy it for me when, say, one of their buddy lives in Korea or something, and they get it mailed back to them. But that's gonna be a conversion issue.
Why not? It's $240.
Oh, see, then that's
the only problem is if the car isn't expecting it, it might just not open up. That's what we saw with the Chatamo adapter on Model 3. You plug it in, it's like, yeah, not yet. Wait for update. We know what you're doing.
See, that's the first thing I'm thinking, because I've been to Korea and I know things come out a little bit earlier before it hits here. Yeah. So it's nothing to be like, hey, can you buy this? It looks just like this. Call me. And then
it's worth a shot. It's totally worth a shot. Candela's C8 flying electric boat is already selling better than their gas power boats.
Ooh. This is such Bond-like.
Right?
I like hydrofoils.
28-foot pleasure. Few features up sleeve. Electric instead of relying on gas. It also flies with water on hydrofoils.
28-foot pleasure boat. We got to end
the thing is, with the hydrofoils, they can go faster. They're more efficient. Because you're floating above the water. Instead of having all that surface area pushing through the water, you have a lot less surface area. You got blades. It's just
Here it is in action with audio.
And those things are fast.
Super fast. The whole boat's out of the water except for the foil and the engine pod.
Right.
It's got an app.
So you can start it up before you get there.
Yep.
Just like Tesla.
They mentioned the motor, the C-Pod. There's the motor.
Connected to the foil.
Sleek.
Super sleek. All right.
I like it a lot. I like it.
It looks like those Hollywood.
So Elon said that electric planes would be an interesting problem to work on.
He did. Was at the shareholder meeting or at Berlin?
I think that was at Berlin.
Together. Okay.
And then we covered a couple of weeks ago the Volta, the electric Volta aircraft.
We just did one this week with Honda.
Okay, I wasn't on yet, so
there's multiple places coming out with that. So
so it's gonna be crazy.
So this is another one I'm not going to share on the screen. In Nature, I'll put the article in the chat. Nature. They are talking about the effectiveness of real-world data. Real-world data is showing the effectiveness of air filters on the new normal and getting it out of the air. And so they found at a hospital swamped by victims of the new normal that the portable air filters have effectively removed the source of the new normal, such that the evidence of real-world filtering, etc. Because what they were finding is, opening windows helped, but a lot of the spread was happening in the hospitals, and this is suggesting that in addition to some airflow, if they could filter that airflow, it would actually have an effect.
That's where a lot of people be at when they have to be sick. They go to the hospital, so it concentrates there. No matter how much you're trying to clean up quickly,
yeah,
it would make sense. But
away from subjects that will stand to get Google on our tail, it was the clean air aspect of it was really what I was getting at there, because we focus on clean air extensively here.
Clean air is important.
It is.
Yeah.
Tesla China is increasing the range of the performance Model 3 with allegedly a battery size change. This is coming from Drive Tesla Canada as well. So the highest trim Model 3 can now travel 419 miles on a full charge on the China efficiency test. That's a 43-mile increase over the previous. My goodness.
They're over 400 miles now?
On the China test.
Oh, that's that model. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
China test. Yeah.
So not in the real world. Okay, gotcha.
So, along with, well, I mean, you're going to see more range. You just maybe not as much as they said.
Right.
Yeah. Tesla China also released information on the reason for the increase. According to the automaker, the battery size is okay. So yeah, not allegedly, they did. So somebody had a fight with Drive Tesla Canada saying the battery size didn't change, but right here, Tesla's saying they did. So who are they to argue with Tesla? The battery size increased from 76.0 kilowatt hours to 78.4 kilowatt hours. Although it wasn't confirmed at the time, it's believed the battery size of the Model Y also increased last week from 75 kilowatt hours to 80 or 82 kilowatt hours.
That wasn't last week when they increased the Y. The Y is now 82.
In China?
In China. Okay, maybe that was last week in China then.
Okay.
But they increased it here.
Yeah, they increased it here.
Because it used to be 77 here. Now it's 82.
Yeah.
And I guess they increased it over there as well. They do these type of things really quietly, and they just like sneak them in there and don't tell anybody.
Always.
Whereas any other manufacturer would be bragging to the world.
Hey, look what we did.
But they would hold out to the next model year and then brag to the world. Oh, our newest, get the newer one because this now has this increase. Whereas Tesla just slides it in mid-production.
I've got a permit here from Brandenburg about Tesla Giga Berlin, but I can't read it because it's in German, and I don't remember why I have it. So this is either a permit for their party or something to do with them getting ready to go online. And I can't read it.
Well, they had a huge rave party, right? And they had like I remember seeing like a big Ferris wheel outside and like a whole fair and all this stuff.
Right. And I was looking for in the notes where I linked to this document and why I have it here. And I'm not seeing it.
I think that celebration was for the grand opening that's gonna be starting. Yeah, I wish I could read German, but I cannot.
Oh, it's not working the way I want. Let's do translate. Then do camera. Continue. It's not Thai. It's German. Auto. Yeah, they get to text language. Okay, so let's see if it tells me. Approval for procedure according to the Federal Emission Control Act. Public law dated on October 8th. Application from Tesla Brandenburg. Dear Sir and Madam, the aforementioned application is issued. The procedure for issuing. That one didn't translate.
Is this their approval for them to open?
Early admission. According to the construction of the facility, the general assembly of electric vehicles. They got something early.
I think that's
I really wish I remember why I had included this.
That may be their approval for them to open their
Begin
factory.
operation. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know when the operation is going to begin, but it may be what you're looking at. It might be approval.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. What article did I discuss right before that? Or okay, National Geographic. Great. There we go. Found it. All right. Tesla got further preliminary approval for Giga Berlin. A live testing is allowed now, and installation of more chimneys. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. That was disorganized on my part. So they're now allowed to have more chimneys, and they're allowed to do more tests for their assembly. So they're in the home stretch. And I thought this was pretty cool. Let's just rewind this. Make it bigger. Oh, can't do that. Okay. Pause this. Rewind it. Share. So this is the latest episode of National Geographic. Or issue, latest issue, National Geographic.
For a second, I thought you said National Giga-graphic. Giga-graphic.
Geographic. This is the cover for this month's issue.
Revolution is here.
Yeah. Notice
welcome to EVs.
Two of the vehicles are Model 3 and Semi.
And it's Semi.
Isn't that the electric Volto on the left?
No, that's the NASA multi-jet, and that's a
it's like that drone thing.
That's the Ford F-150 there.
Okay. Well, yeah, I see the lighting in the back. And
I'm guessing that's a Zero.
That's what I was thinking.
And for some reason, the bullet train.
The train.
Yeah, it's not the TGV, because the TGV has got a different shape to the front. So
I'm still thinking that.
I don't understand what the drone and the bomber have to do with it. But
I think the drone's a Volto of some course. Of course, your military.
I mean, all quadcopters are vertical takeoff and landing. They their copters always pointed up.
There got to be something. We'll figure it out.
What's up with the stealth bomber though? That's
it's military based. It has to be there. It's national. National Geographic.
Anders said use Google Translate. Yeah, that's what I was using on
the
phone,
document.
But I need to put it in the document. So this is the first full custom interior, I guess, for sale on the Model S Plaid, because we've seen custom interiors on the Plaid already. When you look at Dark Helmet, for instance, had no interior.
Yeah, this is the Plaid. So
this was done by T-Sport line. All right, so they kept the ventilated seats this time around. It's interesting what they've done to the steering wheel. I've never been somebody who understood the diamond stitch. I mean, it looks well done. It's not for me, but it looks well done. What do you guys think?
Not for me. I'm not with the bright interiors like that, bright orange, but if you're into that type of thing, it does look well done.
It's not just because it's outlandish. I've had two blue interiors before, so and then a white one. So it's not that I need a gray, tan, or black interior. No, it's just the way the orange sits doesn't sit with me, but it's very well done. Is that orange on the pedal, or is that reflecting the seat?
It's probably
reflecting.
All right,
it's reflecting.
That would be really cool if they did that. Replace the the strips with the orange bumpers. Interesting. So I wonder how much T-Sport line is charging for this, because the last custom interior they did was like $30,000.
I was just going to say it ain't cheap.
Oh, we know that.
It's not cheap.
That's a lot of custom work right there. I mean, that's a lot labor intensive, so you know that's not cheap.
Yeah. Biker C8. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Tesla could do a red. I think I had a red on one car before. Would be great on Halloween.
That would be great for Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is. That's a good scheme. I was trying to figure out what scheme to go with. Halloween.
Well, I'm not gonna spend 30 to 50 grand to do my car for Halloween.
Nah.
Now, if I had the Halloween store, I could write it off as a business expense. All right, so MG is making an EV. They're going to make a fast-charging EV with 273 miles of range and a 7-year standard warranty. Oh, this is at mg.uk. I'm like, why do they want my information? Because they want to sell it to me. It doesn't look bad. I was hoping there were more pictures. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's a decent looking car. I think that'll sell.
It's got good specs, and unlike Mazda, it's more than 100 miles of range.
Right.
All right, so this one was making its rounds earlier this week on the internet with no context, and so people were confused as to what they were seeing. Tesla Model 3 owner uses their car as a battering ram to help save a friend from kidnapping in video. This car saved the owner of this car. And let's see. They said it's a good thing the safety score is only available in the U.S. If it were available in Taiwan, the Model 3 owner would certainly have a score near zero after what happened on Friday. So something happened with this rental Corolla, and they nabbed the driver of the black Model 3, and the driver of the white Model 3 saw it and did a little bit of vigilante justice.
Came to the rescue.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They were able to keep the perpetrators there until the police were able to show up.
Wow.
Protecting some reports have called their friend, or at least the other Model 3 driver, from
was that the friend that was running away down there?
I'm not sure if it was the friend or they captured the driver of the Corolla, but the other two guys got away.
Oh, so that might have been one of those guys.
Right. Or it could have been the Model 3 owner.
Pinned.
He pinned him. Kept him there until the police arrived.
I mean, listen, that's pretty bold. I wouldn't have sacrificed. Well, I don't. Maybe I would have. If it was my friend involved.
It's like nightmare.
Right. That's why I think that the calls of where they called it his friend were more accurate, because if you did that for a stranger, you're definitely an upstanding citizen. This was the Corolla when it was done. This is the Model 3 when it was done.
The Model 3 looks much better coming out of this.
It weighs twice as much.
A lot more. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Hey,
I think I might have.
What's up, Marcus?
No, not being too funny, but on this picture on the right, you got the white and black flip flop.
Yeah.
Matching the
Yeah, I
white
saw
that.
And this flip flop on the ground.
How you say it to the insurance company?
Okay, so yeah.
In his own tape.
Hopefully the insurance company will go for it, or maybe the rental car people's insurance will go for it, because that's expensive.
That's a lot of damage.
Oh, the rental.
That's expensive.
The Model
not the
Model
Tesla.
3
Which one was the rental?
The Corolla was a rental.
The Corolla was a rental, not the Tesla.
Oh,
But
both Teslas with the friends. Yeah.
So we never advise anybody taking
Vigilante
justice into your own hands. You'd be better off just following them, getting on the phone with the police, giving them the tag, all the information, let them know which way the vehicle's going. Just try to keep them in eyesight if you can. Don't drive too dangerously. If they're driving reckless and dangerous, just let them go. But just keep let the police do their job.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting story, and that's wild to see.
Yeah, and it had a good ending, but they don't always end that way.
Right, exactly. You don't know if these people
they
are armed, if they're going to start shooting at you or whatever. That's just so dangerous. And I mean, just those activities themselves are dangerous. Innocent people could have got hurt or whatever. Somebody could have got hit by a vehicle or something. You never know. So,
and here in these Western countries, they'll also get you a countersuit for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
They assaulted us with a vehicle. Well, I mean, You kidnapped my buddy.
Right.
It's no excuse. I'm countering your counter. Yes. Let's see. This is what I've been saying with our friends, our viewers in India have been telling us, is that the Chinese cars are not welcome. Now it's official. The Tesla may not sell Giga Shanghai produced cars in India, the road transport minister. The company sent 7,000 Model 3s to other countries from China within the first 2 weeks of the new year. Then the Model Y started being shipped to Europe from Giga Shanghai. And let's see. Gidkari is in no way trying to make things more difficult for Tesla entering the market. Instead, he says he's making the market fair playing field for both the car maker and the country, which ultimately will need to benefit from potential partnership. So they're still at that negotiating table I told you guys about. He said any of the company's needs would be taken care of by the Indian government. The automaker just needs to manufacture its vehicles domestically. So they're back on it needs to be from here kick. I understand it, and I think that it might be better just to specify in the meantime while they finish their negotiations, okay, we won't take the Chinese ones, but you can send us X amount of the German ones. Because right now, it's really tough to negotiate when you're not budging at all. It's a give and take. Nobody feels they got everything they wanted in a proper negotiation and compromise. Right now, it just feels like they pulled back all the way. And you know, it has to be built in India. It has to all this. I get where they're coming from. Come on, guy. You gotta have a little bit of give and take. Don't walk away from the table like this. You're only hurting your own people. Musk was not in favor of taking such a massive risk building production facility in India without knowing whether its vehicles would provide growth opportunities. Interesting. India. Don't bring cars into India from other countries. Also India. Export cars from India. Me. To where? Countries. Not saying don't bring out cars in their country from other countries.
Right. That part. So the wild part about it is India would be a pretty big market, right?
Yeah, huge.
And
huge.
If they just allowed them to go ahead and sell their vehicles there, it would behoove them, just because it would be financially beneficial to them to go ahead and build cars there.
Yes.
Just the same thing like with China. I mean, it makes good financial sense for them to put a factory there and build the cars there that are going to be sold there. So,
but factories aren't cheap, and they take time to produce. It'd be about
correct.
a year to build another gigafactory.
Absolutely. So why not India? Just let them sell the cars there with the and
but then
maybe
you also
negotiate some terms with them and say, hey, we're going to start selling cars here. In the meantime, we're going to build a factory here. Yeah. While that's while we're narrowing down all those specific specifications, location, everything else, building the factory, getting everything ready to build. In the meantime, already selling cars here.
Yeah, but then you also have the problem of if this works for India and they get everything they want by doing this, then every country is going to say, "Oh, you can't sell our cars until you give us a factory."
Well, that obviously doesn't work. But how many people are in India?
A lot.
Right, and how many people are
second
in other
only
countries?
To China.
So you got to look at the largest population of people is in China and then India.
Yep.
Right. So it makes sense to say, hey, build a factory in China. Hey, build a factory in India.
And export from both.
Right.
Yeah. It's a little different situation. They can argue if anybody else tries to pull that on them. Nearly 80% of Norway's new car sales are electric. Pure EVs alone were 78%. What did we say? No bag holders.
Yep.
This is coming from Autoblog Regular. The luxury tax has been suspended for EVs. It's 25% VAT on a fraction of the price of a new car that exceeds 600,000 krona. And that's $69,300. So the Model Y costs less than that threshold, might be unaffected. All right. Oh, okay, I see.
Model 3 and Model Y
it's
would
by
be under
labor.
the threshold, but
So it's one of the cars are bad groups. They're going to bring the tax back because the tax has been exempt on EVs for a little while now, which is part of how it's been able to succeed. And they're saying that you can't hold it forever. Yeah, but you don't want to stifle your growth. I mean, you're almost done with the mission, then turn it back on. I mean, why do it the last couple of days? It's just, come on, guys. Come on, just let it finish up. Of course, that's a lot different than what we have here, because right here, we're at 2%. Over there, 80%. I understand. It's just it's so close to the finish line. You just finish it up. It hasn't made a difference yet, so just finish it up. But that's just me.
I agree.
All right, so who is this? Okay. So Amazon News, I guess that's from Amazon themselves, is sharing a video of the new Rivian van. I've muted it because it's got music. They're talking to people. Looking at the van. It looks really nice for a commercial vehicle. So yeah, I like to work at that. It's got the same software setup as the R1T, it looks like. Looks ergonomic. There we are. So internal testing indicates that the EDV 700 will have a range of 201 miles, which isn't bad. Let's see. Built in 500, 700, and 900 cubic feet sizes, and right now they're building the 700 and the 500. Oh wait, no. 500, 700 planned for launch in December 2021, and the 900 is planned thereafter. So the one they're testing, I believe, is the 500. 500 is 150 mile range. 700 150 mile range. The 900 is a 120 mile range. So I'm guessing that's because they're not filling these things up. Because 150 is shorter than, what did we say? Sorry, we scroll around on you like this. Then 200, whatever. So they've got the 500s. I think we've been looking at the 700 because that aspect ratio looks right. And the 900, that thing is huge. 14,000 pound gross weight and 840 cubic feet storage. Not bad. Like I said, I'd like to get a hold of one of these and do projects with it.
150 mile range.
Or 200 according to that test.
But how far do those vehicles usually travel in a day?
Not that far. You're going to go from a depot to all the neighborhoods around you, and then back to the depot.
You're delivering. That's the local delivery. This is, last mile type thing.
This is last mile. This
isn't driving across country. This is last mile. So
exactly. So then we've got, as I mentioned earlier, we talked about Exotic was asking about the solar roof. Well, this is a solar car right here. Solar powered camper. It's built by Dutch college students, and they're going to take it on the road. This one also has music in it, so I muted it. It looked really sleek to me. I like the look of this thing. I really like the idea of having a camper, but it needs to be electric. Got pop-up roof, solar powered.
Oh,
it's an EV.
It looks like a better canoe.
Yeah, similar. But that's just by students. Let's see if they get any more pictures of it. Here we go.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And this is done by students.
Students. It's
that's amazing.
Yeah. Full-on camper.
I like the fold-out solar
canopies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't even got to plug it in. You can be off-grid. We'll travel up to 450 miles on a very sunny day. If appliance use is kept to a minimum, it'll take between 2 and 3 days for the mobile home to fully recharge, though. So it's best suited for leisurely trips where you can schedule stops for a few days or more, or you can plug it in. Like the Aptera, you can plug it in, or you can, it'll take you about 2 days to fully recharge it.
Yep.
Show off what it can do. They plan to take their camper on a long road trip this month. Right now it's set from Endiven on Sunday, September 19th to the southernmost tip of Spain and continental Europe. It's between 1,400 miles. So it'll be a good test of the camper's capabilities. Let's hope it doesn't rain on their parade. Yes. Oh, no, that's not them. That's cool to me. I like it.
These are students, not a major manufacturer. It's beautiful.
Right. So now imagine they get together with a coach builder or automaker and what they could do with that.
Right.
That's something you'd be like, hey, Elon, how about this? Send. Better yet, RJ.
Are easy.
RJ, it's been years. How about this one to go with your Rivian? That's literally a brilliant thing. Canoe. They've already made a hollow out case already. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw it.
Yeah.
That's freaking genius.
Hey, quick thing. Somebody came to my door. I handled that. So I said, let me try it. And on the car, I was talking about the windshield wiper thing. Yeah, you hold it for like 4 seconds. It's like a little circle thing, and then it activates the water.
The wipers. Okay.
And wipers.
The brights.
Okay.
And if you hold the brights, it just hits the brights.
Correct.
Okay.
Hey,
so they mix it up a bit. Yeah.
And also too, it like the water's coming out of the blades itself somehow.
Okay, so like the Model X and the Model X, where it comes out of the rubber.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's coming out. It's all over the place too, though.
Yeah. Nice.
So I had to try it. I was curious about it. You had me curious at first. So I was down to know.
Definitely.
That's cool.
Definitely. So we'll catch you on the flip side. So they have a new outro and intro feature, so I just hit go and stop, and it'll automatically play the video for me, whichever video I tell it.